Welcome, viewers. I'm getting some echo. Who's on? Who doesn't have like headphones on or something, or someone not muted in the other chat? Uh,
I think it sounds good for me, Woodrow. What's up,
okay.
Woodrow? How you
I'm
doing
having.
tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to see some magic. We've got undefeated players in our middle school league, which is an interesting set of cards that are legal and not legal. And we have kind of a sweet battle coming up. We've got the classics of blue white Landstill in the hands of Patrick, and in the other hand, in Kai's hands, it's just like the spiciest brew ever. And
Oh
why
yeah.
don't you tell the viewers what to expect? Because
Oh
it
my
could be
gosh.
anything.
Yeah. It's week 4. We're in week 5, right? So this is 4-0 players, two 4-0 players, and like you said, we have a standstill. I think I didn't get the list, so it seems like it's probably pretty straightforward. But we got on the other side, Kai has he's labeled naughty Feb, right? So not the knot is Phyrexian Dreadnought.
Yeah, we got four of those.
So Phyrexian Dreadnought, and we're gonna try to do the regular Feb stuff on top of that, right? And it's gonna be difficult, obviously, if you're going up against a control deck to try to execute your combo. So that's where the Dreadnought speed could benefit, and maybe we'll see that coming up. So we got shuffles. We got looks like some rolling, maybe resolving who goes first. We got an odd or even call.
And
Um,
so this, as usual, the die roll matters a lot because the full English breakfast deck wants to resolve a 2 mana enchantment, Survival of the Fittest. And so if you get to have 2 mana before the Landstill deck has 2 mana for either counterspell or their own 2 mana enchantment, Standstill, it makes a big difference.
Okay, we
And
see Patrick taking another look, it seems like.
yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick's mulliganing. We are using the standard mulligan rules, so you draw 7 and put one back. We are
Right,
using
right.
that modern set.
So for the standstill deck, I mean, a serviceable hand is
Yeah, it looks like
lands and
Kai's happy.
spells, right? Kai's happy with 7, it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lands and spells. You don't want to get steamrolled early. So at this point, I'm guessing that the players, even though they may not officially know, have a good idea what their opponent is on. Um, but yeah, what are you looking for as a standstill player? Like you want standstill in your opening hand. You usually
Okay.
want the card Swords to Plowshares because it's
I was
cheap.
gonna
You
say
can make sure the
swords,
board's
right?
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those two. And if you had some scouting knowledge that maybe your opponent's on some really degenerate deck, then you'd want counter magic for sure.
Right.
Um,
Disenchant, I could imagine that there's some versions of Disenchant main deck in the blue white deck, right?
Usually
Abolish
there's like
potentially.
seal of cleansing that you can get with Enlightened Tutor
There you
because that
go.
also gets standstill, and then maybe the big knockout punch, which is humility, which is usually lurking in these decks. And Kai's
Mm-hmm.
deck is oriented around creatures, so if humility comes to play, Kai's deck is just like not doing anything. So it's
Right,
a
right. Humility is normally a one of, maybe a two of, right?
yeah, but you have these Enlightened Tutors, so you can go get it
True,
as part of your tutor
true.
package.
So it's probably a one of included as part of that kind of package. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Looks like Patrick's tanking on what to put on the bottom here. Like you said, it's important. I didn't hear the call on who's first, but I'm assuming it's Kai.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, we're going to tank.
Now,
We're doing some
if you're
math. How many lands are left in my deck? Can I afford to put this land on the bottom? Like, how greedy can I get? All right, so it's actually Patrick. Patrick's on the play.
Patrick's on the play, okay.
So we're leading with the Darkar Waste. Maybe we're gonna plow like the first creature that shows up. Are we gonna plow birds? Thinking
We're gonna
about it.
counter a birds. We got a
Well,
forest into a bird. So just
yeah,
bird represents colored mana of other sorts, right? You need
yeah,
that in the Feb deck.
yeah. The full English spec stick has very greedy mana, and
There you go.
yeah,
There's
we're
the
plowing it.
swords.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that the mana bases in this format are not good.
Oh, of
Playing more
course,
than
of
two
course.
colors is really bad in this format. The mana fixing is kind of weak. City of Brass is like one of the best lands in the format. And Kai's deck is playing several colors. We've got blue and green primarily, but there's also black
Oh
as
gosh,
well.
and Patrick, right out of the
Oh,
gate, like you mentioned it, the seal of cleansing comes down. So that's what he was looking for, a hand with those two cards that you mentioned, and those are the first two plays he does, right?
okay. And so Usually with these survival decks, you have some sort of fair game plan if your survival engine isn't working. Uh, Kai's deck really doesn't have that. Its backup plan is you can just make a 12-12 Dreadnought.
Which
Um,
gets hit by a seal of cleansing, unfortunately,
yeah,
right? So
so actually the Seal of Cleansing gets both the plans. The survival plan and the Dreadnought plan are kind of undone by Seal of Cleansing.
City of
Um,
Brass, though. City of Brass makes colors,
oh,
and Cabal Therapy is nice. What do you
uh,
name here?
so
Standstill?
Patrick's only got like 3 cards left, so uh, I think that if Patrick had Standstill, they would have played that on turn 2 over the Seal of Cleansing.
Okay.
Because you want to play Standstill on an empty board, you just always do that if you can.
Okay.
So you might go for Wrath or some counter spell that you know is a 4 of in this deck.
If he fully didn't know what Kai's deck was, though, would you
Mm-hmm.
run out a standstill against potential manland advantage?
Yeah. I mean, if I show up playing Standstill, I'm ready to like lose to somebody's Treetop Village. That's what I
Okay.
signed on for.
Okay. Okay.
If the board's empty, I'm playing Standstill. Like, so all right. So Patrick's hand is pretty decent. Plow, Impulse, and Powder Keg. Powder Keg is okay. Impulse is great because there's no brainstorm in this format. Impulse is a very powerful cantrip, so that's going to make sure that Patrick gets whatever they need as the game goes on here.
Yeah, two swords is really, really tough to see from Kai's side. If I'm Kai, I'm very much like, dude, come on,
Yeah,
you had to have two, you know.
really now.
Plus the powder keg, like you're gonna have all this against me, right?
So,
Because you can't even run out your one drops really, because you're gonna get popped.
yeah. So I mean, I think maybe the next one drop that gets run out is just gonna like sacrifice itself to Cabal Therapy or something.
That's fair. Yeah, try to go after one of those cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have a one drop here, maybe you would try to go after it, get the impulse, try to cut off the card advantage.
Yeah, because the way you win is you try and as the survival flavor is you try and overwhelm what's going on here, and maybe the Landstill player draws like too many lands or gets like a bad mix. But the impulse makes sure that the correct mix of lands and spells is going to happen. It's going to do a
Right.
lot to fix that.
Kai passes it back. It looks like he has 3 cards.
Mm,
And Patrick's going to ratchet up the powder keg.
yeah. So as the Landstill player, this is what you want. There are
It
no threats in
is. Yeah.
play.
Yes.
We're just playing draw go. Yeah, drawing lands. It's great
And
as
another
Landstill.
land. Oh,
Yeah, drawing
gosh.
lands.
So we
So
play a plane. So we see 2 Edakar waste, a plains, and an
ooh.
island on Patrick's side. A main phase impulse is going to look
So
for a standstill,
yeah,
probably, right?
standstill is the biggest hit.
Yeah.
We just plop down the standstill on an empty board, and Kai will be forced to walk into it. So yeah, that's perfectly fine, and it's also really hard to hold on to the impulse because we know this Cabal Therapy is there. So the impulse might be finessed out of her hand sooner than we'd like. So there's no
Right.
harm in playing it main phase.
Yeah. Now, if he's taking this long, I'm going to guess he's not seeing a standstill. So
Right.
what he's got to
So
plan is make a plan, right? So
yeah.
he has a swords and now some other card, and
So at this point, what you do is you probably take like counter spell if that shows up because counter spells is like always good.
or another draw
Um,
spell, right?
yeah, or another impulse, I guess. If you think you can just spin our wheels, which we can. Kai's not doing anything.
Underground River gets added to Kai's side, and he
All
puts a
right,
birds on the
so
table,
we're
tapping
putting
a
a bird
forest.
into play, but really this bird is Cabal Therapy. That's what this
Right.
bird is.
If it resolves, right?
Yeah,
I'm
assuming he
sure
resolves.
we're seeing if it resolves, right?
Yeah, I don't think that we throw a counter spell at the bird, so you just let the bird happen, and then probably Kai just moves to Cabal Therapy. Oh, but it does not move to Cabal Therapy, so that implies that there's a setup for next turn,
He wants the
or
swords gone for dreadnought, perhaps, or
yeah.
what's his payoff for double color that he doesn't have?
Yeah, yeah. I think he wants to tap the bird for mana and then sack it to therapy, maybe.
He,
So,
he probably has 2 plays next turn, right?
yeah, double
Like
turn.
he's trying to set up a turn where he can play a thing to get countered, and then play another thing.
Yeah, so
Or he
maybe,
has nothing, and he's just
or it's just
trying.
like all posturing.
Yeah, you know, if I'm Kai, I might do that. Oh gosh, and so
All right.
Patrick adds
I
a
think,
factory to the board, which is a
and
win
I think that's
condition,
humility. I think humility just
and
got played.
he
And if that's
adds
true, then the
the
game is
humility.
actually
Yeah,
over. Game
yeah,
one, I don't think that Kai's deck has any way to get humility off the table. Kai's deck is all about creatures doing things. When all of your creatures are Mons, Goblin, Raiders, they're not really doing anything.
right.
So I think that it might take many turns, but the game is fundamentally over. Uh,
And I'm
y-
looking at the list. Is there what can we do? There's
Play
no
one
enter the
ones.
battlefield abilities, right? No
Yeah.
ETBs happen. Um, so if you could somehow remove the humility, you could just play your dreadnoughts now, right?
Yeah, you can play the dreadnoughts at 1/1s, and if you could get rid of the humility later, you get to keep them as 12/12s. But in their main deck, there's no way to get rid of the humility. So the only way we win is if we play a whole bunch of 1/1s and have them swing out through the factory and the plow, which is a tall order.
it is going to be tough, I think, to do that.
All right,
Now,
but Kai's ready to do it. Kai's not
yeah,
conceding. They're they attack with the birds. Yeah, they were playing 1/1s. Volrash
okay.
Shapeshifter. Usually, so the humility is an upgrade. Usually the bird and the shapeshifter would be 0 power creatures, and now they're 1 power creatures. Thanks, humility.
Yeah, humility doing work for both sides here.
I think
Uh,
Patrick's happy about this.
I think if I'm Patrick, I would be probably okay with this situation.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
nice.
especially with you have it all with the powder
Yeah,
keg, with the swords, with the seal, and then the factory. Like you can really just choose your path here. I don't know. I would just wait maybe till Kai had a few less cards and I had the guarantee, and then I would start with my factory.
yeah. Like we just play defensively, and eventually we'll draw more man lands or a decree of justice. Uh, but there's no we're so far ahead. There's no reason to like
Is
take
that
any
a
risks.
second factory?
Second
Oh
factory.
gosh.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all she
I
wrote.
might concede here if I was Kai. I don't
Yeah.
know that I'm gonna be able to get by two factories.
Right.
Um, you know,
Because we just like we're losing 2 creatures a turn on attacks.
yeah.
Um, yeah. And if we just hang back and do nothing, yeah.
No, I'm rooting for Kai, but
Yeah.
I don't know that I might scoop it up if I were him. But like, let's again, maybe there's a line that I'm just not seeing, and you're not seeing. Somehow we're both missing it. I don't know.
I don't know. If this were MTGO, I'd hope my opponent's connection like disconnected right now. So,
That's that
didn't
Kai's line. Is that Kai's line
yeah
right here?
didn't pay the internet bill. Got him. His cat tripped over the router. That's my secret to victory. But yeah, if your secret to victory is actually winning a game of Magic, I don't see how that would happen.
Did one of the players get disconnected from the score? Am I seeing the score wrong or? Hmm. I just
Um,
see 14 only. I don't
I
see
just
two
see
scores there.
14. I'm not too concerned about it, but we'll double check with that.
I
All
feel
right.
like
Yep.
someone said don't get disconnected from the score before we start. I feel like that was what someone said that.
Yeah, that's definitely in the meeting. Getting called out.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah, but this humility creature beatdown is real,
I
Patrick.
just
You
needed
need to
to
respect
I
it.
just needed to make sure I understood where we stood, right? Like what's Kai up against here. So he's at
Yeah,
14 himself and
yeah. Patrick's at 16.
16. We had a
Uh,
wall
okay,
blocks all
well,
day.
okay, dude. All these
Yes.
0 power creatures are getting just like leveled up. This is incredible.
Does it so it doesn't get any counters on it?
Well, the wall can't like do its thing to remove counters. And that's when you use it for mana, you put counters on, but it just doesn't have that ability. So it's just like a 1/1 with no abilities right
Yeah,
now.
I was thinking it goes the other way. It comes in. I was thinking it comes in with 5 counters that you
Oh wow,
remove.
that'd be incredible.
But um,
But no.
but
Okay, so we sack the birds to flashback to therapy. Patrick takes a sweet 2 for 1 and just plows one of these 1/1s. Uh, and so
well, what did
yeah,
he
that's what.
want? He wanted to keep his dreadnought that he's about to play with no drawback, right? Like
Yeah, a 1/1 artifact creature.
Unfortunately, yeah, he's just got the powder keg still on one, so it's like womp womp.
Mm, right. What do we got?
I feel like that's what it is. He has two cards, I think. So I'm doing the
Oh, well, maybe he's
soul
got
reading
Dreadnought
with
plus
Kai.
Stifle, and he'll play the Dreadnought, and then when
And
the powder keg gets cracked, he'll
stifle the
stifle the
powder keg.
powder
I
keg.
really
Yes.
hope that's what it is. I mean, he could. He doesn't have vision charm, right? But I hope it's a stifle. Pat's not falling for it. He knows it's a stifle.
Yeah. There's no reason to fight too hard over a 1/1 creature. So.
True. Yeah, I mean, and you could stifle, the seal or the powder keg. So that's
Yes.
fun. But
So
you know,
so if Kai could draw Survival of the Fittest and just pull all of the creatures out of his deck with Survival, he might be able to swarm by, but the Seal of Cleansing is also stopping that from really happening.
indeed, yeah.
So
So,
it's
but
just
maybe if he has this type, okay, now Pat's getting aggro. He's
yeah,
got
but
two
Patrick.
factories activated.
Okay, well that's fine because Kai can't really double block because he'll get blown out by the
The
powder keg
seal,
or the seal.
right?
So this is actually one thing I really enjoy about Patrick's play. Patrick is not hesitant to turn the corner.
Right.
Uh, he
There you
Patrick,
go. There you
yeah,
go. So we have a double block from Kai onto probably the prettier factory, which is the
yeah.
fall. Well, spring. But I'll say so. He's gonna pop the powder keg, which should get rid of the dreadnought, right? And then we just have a 1/1 wall of
Yeah,
roots that
blocking a
gets
2/2.
bashed by the factory.
All right.
All right, so
So I'm remembering the basic rules of the game, and I'm pretty sure 2/2 creatures kill 1/1 creatures. So
we're getting there. So and remembering that they're two-twos because of layers and
yes,
ogres and onions, right?
layers like parfait.
So Patrick's board still looks pretty nice. He has a humility, a seal of cleansing, two factories, two at our car wastes, an island, and a plains. Kai looking a little more desolate.
Yeah.
And Patrick also adds a fairy conclave to his
Wow,
board.
just the beats, they just keep coming.
So Kai just 5 lands. Looks like a forest, Lanor Waste, Yavimaya Coast, City of Brass, Underground River, and an island. He can make all the colors. He could cast a trike. That would be a 1/1.
Oh, a trike would be sweet. Does that be a 4/4 creature? Well, wait, does that work? Right?
It
No,
doesn't
doesn't
come into
work.
play with the
Yeah,
three counters, right? It just
yeah, it was
has
just coming
one
to play as a
counter.
1/1. We have to play it first, and then the humility, and then you'd have the counters.
Humility.
Yeah.
Ogre, onion, humility.
Never mind.
But I'm just pointing out, like, he has all the mana, right?
Yeah. So at least we've got that
How much does Phage cost to cast?
7, including
Uh,
like quads black. All right, well, Kai's seen enough.
Indeed,
Humility, that's like a pretty hard punch to get out of.
that's
Um,
not
I, I,
nice.
I respect Kai's decision. I also would be happy to move on. So we know for a fact that these naturalizes are coming in.
Right. So we could probably gloss over a little bit of his sideboard, but we actually have that list, so we can talk about it.
Yeah,
So naturalize, monk, realist,
but that doesn't
yeah,
beat humility, so it doesn't really do anything.
but it gets
'Cause that,
back, like, it uh recycles your survivals, right?
oh
So,
wait,
like,
I thought monk realist was a disenchant monk, not
is that
get
the
back
is
get
that
back
the
in.
disenchant?
Yeah.
Idealist is the one that gets it back. So monk realist, though, if it's a disenchant, then still kills seal of cleansing and
Right.
humility, right? Or
No,
no,
but
wouldn't
no,
kill
the humility's in
humility in
play. It's just a
play.
1/1
Yeah.
guy. Uh,
So, but it kills the seal of cleansing, right?
yeah. Um. All right. So what's good here? Yeah, definitely naturalize. If you want to play an attrition type of game, you can engineer plague to make either the factories
Soldier,
or the soldiers
soldier,
worse.
and soldier, and that. Now, what about
That's
Xantid Swarm?
so as the blue white player, I approach this as if my opponent is a creature deck.
Hmm.
So really, the counter spells aren't what the game is about. It's about handling the creatures, and Xantid Swarm doesn't do that. It doesn't
Okay.
protect me from someone removalifying or nullifying my creatures. Uh, counter spells are kind of secondary. The only spell that, as a survival deck, the only spell I really want to counter is Survival of the Fittest. And
Okay.
everything else I can kind of just handle because it's just a creature. Um, so I'm not as high on Xantid Swarm. Uh, these Duresses could be good for sure. This Genesis could be good.
Now, do you as the blue white player, are you bringing in the graveyard hates? Like your
Oof.
main deck is pretty good. You have a lot of answers in your main deck. What are you as a blue white player bringing in or looking to do here? And what is Patrick digging around to find to take out?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I felt like game, especially the more combo oriented the survival deck was, the better I felt as blue white. If it was
Yep.
just like good creatures plus survival, like I actually felt like kind of behind like the elf plus survival. But
Okay.
but in the combo deck, if you take away one of the pieces, then the other cards just like don't do anything. Um, so yeah, it depends. A lot of times I would try and get my opponents by bringing in meddling mage, and I would just meddling mage survival because I would be very confident they would have no removal, and then their
Okay.
deck kind of would spin its wheels. But that was just like a me type of thing to do.
Okay.
Uh, I would not want to
Do you
overload on the
expect
graveyard hit.
Patrick to be playing a meddling mage? Is that the cards he's bringing in right now?
Yeah, we don't have his list. In the past, I believe he has had meddling mage, and I think that card is great. By the way, in this format, meddling
Oh,
mage has
I
always
love it.
overperformed
I
when I
love
played
it.
it
Yeah,
in this format.
I love
I,
it.
I would not bring in more than one Tormod's Crypt effect.
Okay.
You don't like imagine if you drew like two graveyard hate cards, like that hand's bad. That's a bad hand. So you only
Sure.
want one of those.
Sure.
Um, if you have an extra disenchant or an extra humility, which sometimes
That's
these
what I was
decks
gonna
do,
say.
humility
I
is by far your best card. That card's like
So
an
I feel
11 out of
like
10.
if you're Patrick, you brought in three cards. You have one extra disenchant, one extra humility, and one extra what? Another disenchant
Mm,
of some sort,
maybe
right?
maybe the Tormod's Crypt or something like
And
that.
then one crypt, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's fine. Like a light touch is perfectly fine. Um,
yeah.
especially we can
So
kind
I
of see
so
how
if you're
things work.
Kai though,
Go
what
ahead.
do you want? You want to lead on right here. You're looking to lead on something like a duress or
Right.
therapy.
Yeah, like we want the net opening of like turn one birds, turn two duress survival or something like that. Like that would be pretty great. Uh yeah. We want to be able to get under the counter. So being on the play is big because we can play survival before counter spell mana is up.
Right.
Um So hopefully we can see Kai's deck do something besides play 1/1 creatures. Humility, just like Oko. Anyone who played during the Oko era when suddenly none of our creatures matter because they're all 3/3 elves. Humility was like the original Oko. It's just like, oh, these creatures they just don't do anything anymore. They're just 1/1 guys.
Oh man, I mean, you still see Oko a lot of times in Vintage, right? And it's just still a bear to play against the card.
Oh yeah. Especially, I
When
don't know
it
what your metagame is like, but there are a lot of people who really like bug in the local Texas metagame. So you can never play Blightstone Colossus because you just know it's gonna get Oko'd.
it's gonna get elked.
Yeah.
I mean, you have we have a like used to have a lot of more DAC, but I would say in general, I guess it's been known as the Rust Belt. We have a lot of shops. People like
Ah.
their workshops.
All right. So it looks like unfortunately Kai's taking a mulligan. But honestly, because some cards matter so much more than others, like we saw Patrick had the plows early, and that really helped. Same thing. If Kai is able to resolve survival, that card is so powerful. It is easily worth mulliganing. Hands that are
Patrick was
sketchy.
good on his 7. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Patrick's staying.
Okay.
So being disciplined is perfectly fine. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, lands and spells. Like I said, I mean, his deck is gonna find the stuff it needs as long as it has a solid opener and a plan of hitting land drops. You're gonna get there. But he wants to have, and likely probably does have, um, some combination of swords, seal, standstill, force. Right?
Yeah, just the classic don't get run over early. Get to our late game of playing four drops like humility or factor fiction to overwhelm our opponent.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about playing Landstill is all of your games are the same. Like you very seldom do you pivot off of that game plan. So
Right. But as you pointed out, Patrick is not afraid to turn the corner, when
yeah,
he smells it. And
yeah,
that's a nice nice and refreshing thing, especially as commentators and as spectators, for sure.
Yeah, we don't want to see people playing with their food. It's like Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
All right, so Kai decides. He puts one on the bottom. Llanowar Waste.
All right, here we are. We
Birds.
got the good mana. We got the birds. The bird is the word. What do we think about Ledger Shredder? Speaking of birds, just to vector this
Ooh.
to some more recent. Have you paid attention
uh,
to this card?
it has to connive. It's not a May. Oh, Phyrexian Furnace. We have Island into
Okay.
Furnace. So there is that
All
probably
right.
one graveyard hate that he has, and the Furnace is nice because it's incremental. He has it on turn one, so he can just
Yeah.
go one at a time, whatever he puts into play
And
into the
and
graveyard and nab it, right?
yeah. And it cycles. Like if it turns out we just don't need this, we can just cycle it away and draw a card. Kai's got a two. All right, so this is the nut opening.
Survival.
We are calling Patrick right now. Do you have Force of Will blue card?
Force check.
Um, yeah.
Is,
And
is Patrick someone who plays pre-modern? Does his deck have force in it? Do you think? Is it a is
oh,
it
there's
is it a
there's definitely
pre-modern legal
there's
deck?
definitely Force of Wills in
Okay.
Patrick's deck. There's no
Okay.
doubt about it.
All right.
So this resolves. It's not as dangerous because we do have the Graveyard Hate card, but uh, if we just sit here doing nothing, the survival player can navigate advantage out of the survival card. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
at some point, the blue-eyed player is going to have to make some sort of move, but it's very slow. With thanks to
Yeah.
the Graveyard Hate card, it's going to be very slow to take over the game. So we've got time.
Right. So he has active bird.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's deciding what to do at the end of Patrick's turn,
Right.
because that's how you'll have to do it, right? You'll have to do something on Patrick's turn, and
Mm-hmm.
then force the issue with the furnace, right? Because whatever you discard will be on the bottom.
Yeah.
Um, he has open mana, so we can get basically the bottom card and the next card right now.
Yeah. So, but I don't see any
Kai
point in
untaps
not
them.
activating. So that's interesting. Does Kai not have another creature in their hand, or
He must not have it. He must not have
yeah,
enough action because again, Furnace can just get the whatever two things, right? So
right?
even if he activates it on the end of Patrick's turn, Patrick will get that thing, and then if the next thing is juicy enough, he will sack the Furnace to it, and maybe Kai doesn't have enough juice to make sure that the Furnace gets gone.
Yeah, or yeah. So
But you
another.
could have just gone and got the realist, right?
Well, the
like
realist only blows up enchantments, not artifacts. So
ah
if we have the Octavia orangutan, then we can go blow this up, and that's probably like that's a very solid play. We ditch a guy, we go get the Octavia orangutan, we blow up the graveyard hate piece, and then we now reset the game and continue. All right, so
here we go.
we just like dreadnought that's not really doing anything. That's fine.
It's juicy enough though, like it's juicy to where maybe you want to do something about it, right?
Well, the way that the furnace works, we're gonna have to get rid of it anyway.
Sure.
So we could finesse the issue by just
He's
going to
doing it.
get
There he is.
the
He's like
shapeshifter.
Patrick thinks about it and is like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't
the
matter.
way the card works, we just start tapping it every time.
Just do it now, yeah. And if I like the next thing, I'll get that thing too.
All right, so the shapeshifter is a 12/12 is off the board, which I didn't really think it was a serious thing anyway. So yeah, if we have the Octavia orangutan, we can go get it and just blow this up. Otherwise,
If we have another land drop, right? Like
yeah.
maybe he was trying to wait to hit a land drop to do something on 4 mana.
But then we could have conserved the mana by using it at the end of Patrick's turn, which so maybe yeah. My best guess was there's no creature, so we're
But
thinking
he doesn't want to get squee because he doesn't want to get
yeah.
squee gotten yet, right? But he needs to get something he can like not care about losing, pretty much, right?
Okay, Mesmeric Fiend. All right,
Oh,
that's
just
cool. That's
okay.
cool.
That seems good.
Yeah.
You
What
check,
do you
yeah,
got there, Patrick? What do you got there?
yeah. Let's see what's going on. We'll check. We'll check, yeah.
All right. I think what we got is counterspell.
Counterspell.
All right, we did.
All right, Kai, good job. Good
Yeah,
job.
we
I
finessed
like
the
the thought.
counterspell.
I like the thought. But Patrick, just says
Yeah.
no.
No. You can't see what's in here. Okay,
Patrick
so
has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, 6
yeah,
cards.
and it isn't worth noting Patrick has not played any white mana so far.
Oh, there's
Okay,
one.
never mind. I think that's it right there.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like maybe we've got a slightly dysfunctional hand, but that is not the case.
Yeah. So we fetch. We assume fetch for a
Go get the
plains.
planes.
Yeah. Give him a little shuffle and cut. He's like, no, no, not that middle. The other middle. All right. Patrick's back in action with Island, Plains, Phyrexian Furnace up. And he comes down with Seal of Cleansing and Pop Survival. Womp womp.
Oh, that is unfortunate. So yeah, Patrick just had it on lock. Uh, we didn't really get any advantage out of the survival, which was kind of the reason I spec Kai kept their hand. So yeah, now we're in a spot. All right.
So Pat passes. Kai untaps.
It's also worth noting Kai did not have a third land, so I definitely think Kai's hand must be a bunch of creatures. Whether they're like castable creatures
Yeah.
is to be determined.
It's
Um,
Hypnox, Palindron, Phage.
ah!
So he has a board that looks like a Birds of Paradise, Underground River, and I think that's a Llanowar Waste, if I
Yeah,
recall.
Lenore Waste.
Yep. So he's gonna tap those.
Oh,
and
right. So that makes sense. If we're missing our land drops, we've got to have spells, and yeah, we've got the good one.
yeah, so
So
Kai taps to make a survival, taps his lands to make a survival. Patrick's tanking, looks like thinking about it, but it resolves, and
yeah.
Kai passes it over to Patrick.
Okay, so now we're back in this dance, survival versus the graveyard hate piece, to prevent it from like going out of control. Uh, it is worth noting that survival eats up a lot of your mana, so if we're doing that dance, we're not progressing the board, which as a Landstill player you're kind of happy with.
Right now, though, Kai can force it because Patrick has an untapped Phyrexian Furnace, but Kai has survival on the bottom of his graveyard. So if he activates his current survival to get Squee, he could force Patrick to pop the Furnace to get the Squee because it will be not the bottom card. So Kai has a
Yeah.
little bit of chance here, but it just depends on what's in his hand a little bit. Looks like he has 3 cards. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can guess that Patrick does not have fourth land plus humility because I feel like that would just been winnable slammed onto the table. so
Maybe
now we actually have
Patrick's
to like
missing
think
a
about
land
it.
drop, and
Yeah.
so I'm guessing main phase impulse. If he misses the land drop, he's going for an impulse.
Oh,
Oh,
meddling
oh,
mage. Oh,
okay.
so
Now, but it's down after the survival. So what do you name here?
that's a little rough. Yeah. What do we name? What are we afraid of? Yeah. Other than survival, I'm not sure what we're supposed to name.
I
Like,
unmuted him for a second, and I heard
yeah.
he named Shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter. Okay, that's the card that you can be sure that they have multiple copies of that card.
Sure.
Uh, so yeah, if the Shapeshifter's off the board, then we're just on some Dreadnought Stifle shenanigans, and some. All right,
Or
well,
you
we don't
just
need that
pitched a
anymore.
shapeshifter
Yeah, that's fair.
to survival. All
Get out of
right.
here, buddy.
We get maged, we get meddled with, so our plans are meddled with. So we try to
Maybe
take a different tact.
Patrick's got the biggest creature on the board. Maybe it's just time to get aggressive. Two twos versus
Now,
0-1. You say, I know what to
yeah.
do.
So what do we want to do here? We want to maybe we get another Mez Fiend. We go Fiend, right?
Fiend. If we have the stifle, there's Dreadnought.
Right.
Uh, if I don't think that we have the Otabi Orangutan. I think that might have been looked for earlier if we did have access to that. Um, I sincerely doubt that Bone Shredder is in the deck. If we had more mana, I would be in love with Triskelion. I would just play
Just play,
Triskelion.
yeah.
Yeah, if I had the mana to cast it, I would throw that
I
out
see
there.
this unearth in the deck. Unearth would bring back the shapeshifter. Yes.
Yeah.
You can't survival for Unearth, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, Survival's pretty busted, but it's not just like demonic tutor. That'd be great.
Now he's activating the furnace, but really he doesn't have priority to do this for a while because Kai activated survival, and if he's in the process of searching, that means he's on the right hand side of that activation, which means when that resolves, Kai has priority again.
Yes, I believe your understanding is correct. So, um, unlikely to be a big deal, and communication can be difficult in these virtual formats. But yeah, you would have
But
to
I'm
activate.
assuming Pat's just saying I'm doing it on my turn before you
Yeah,
go to your turn, right?
yeah, something like that. So we're gonna go get Squee. We're just gonna force the issue. We're gonna try and muscle past the Phyrexian Furnace. And let me take the life totals. Because Kai's taking some damage. I really doubt that the random grizzly bear beats is gonna go all the way. But when you got all pain lands, you got to be aware of that.
Okay. So yeah, he's trying to indicate. I think, hey, I was doing that at the end of my
Okay.
turn. Make sure you get that guy. Okay, and I'm tapped.
Uh,
So Patrick has just a single island up, no counter spell available. If he has force,
yeah, I feel like the force
annul
would have been.
does stuff, right?
Oh, and no, that card is powerful.
But
There's because there's no planeswalkers in this format, so artifacts and enchantments are really like they're the big like sideboard juke.
right.
So null is really powerful,
So
and there's
it
some
gets it
artifact
gets
combos.
Dreadnought right here, right?
Yeah,
Notably, if if that is the plan for Kai,
yeah. I think that's the one problem with Kai's uh, deck is like his juke, his alternate plan leans into the same things that beat the primary plan. Like if your opponent brings in a bunch of artifact / enchantment
right?
hate to beat survival, it also beats making a 12/12
It
dreadnought.
also kills the artifact thing called Dreadnought. Oh, okay. So we talked about
Xantid
this. I said
Swarm.
Xantid Swarm. You said no Xantid Swarm. You want to see Xantid Swarm. Patrick has 4 cards, 5 cards.
Yeah, well, we can be okay. So we get the thing is, I don't even think Patrick has counter magic, so I'm not sure what the Xanadu Swarm is doing. But okay, yeah, Patrick has decided to pull the trigger and get rid of the Squee. I
Okay.
think that if we know that the shapeshifter can't show up, that's perfectly fine. Because
Right.
we can't be combo killed by the shapeshifter as long as the meddling mage is in play. And
Maybe we have the unearth, right? That's what he's setting
yeah,
up
so
here.
Unearth would be just like an incredible beating. That would be delightful if that were to happen. Um, what else we got here? All right, we're gonna plow. Okay, we're just gonna.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
which 0 power creature are we going to
Oh
plow?
gosh. Oh, plow.
Okay,
And then a dust bowl comes down. Kai's 2
that's a
lands.
problem. Actually, if I had the Dust Bowl, I might have been inclined to plow the birds and blow up one of these lands
I'm
and
just
just
blow.
like, yeah, just like go for the flawless victory. Like, yeah, you have survival and no mana. So I
Yeah.
think I would have been inclined to do that.
I'm glad
But
we're doing commentary together and not playing each other tonight, Woodrow.
yeah, man. Usually, like I said, we saw once Patrick smells weakness, he puts the
Yeah,
pedal to the metal,
true.
and I feel like
True.
blowing up your opponent's land and plowing their birds
I
is
mean,
is
that might be
very
next turn. That might be
yeah.
next turn. He's played a plow, he's played a furnace, a seal, a counterspell, and a land. It's very possible he plays a land and plows a bird and blows up a land next turn.
Wow. All right. So Kai does in fact draw land. You have my coast. So now we've got survival. We've got to translate that into board advantage. We've got to get on the board and beat grizzly bears, aka meddling mage, aka Chris Picula. Um, yeah. All right. So we're getting rid of the Hypnox.
Hypnox, here we go. All right.
Okay. All right.
Something happening.
Maybe we have the unearth. We just like unearth out this shapeshifter and copy the Hypnox.
Hypnox Pat into oblivion. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. Definitely
Now,
lost games of vintage dredge where people dread returned Hypnox. Like nobody does that anymore, but it feels bad. You're like, why does my opponent get an 8/8 and exile my hand?
oh gosh. So if you don't have unearth, what are you gonna get here? Psychotog?
Okay, we are
Fiend.
going for the
Yeah.
fiend. All right,
Yeah.
that's fine. We go for the fiend. Make sure there's not like another plow lurking in Patrick's hand because Patrick can't cast plow right now. I
True.
definitely would want to get that out of the way.
That makes a lot of
Uh,
sense. Patrick's thinking. He has
Are we gonna
double blue. He has
counterspell
double
another?
blue
Yeah,
up.
double
So
blue. I'm watching you.
uh, I mean, and prohibit is a good spell. I think some of these
Yeah,
standstill
there might be
decks.
like a one of prohibit lurking.
Yeah, but I mean, you should have double blue often enough. You can play 4 counter spells. You can play force. I haven't seen Factor Fiction cast. Do you know that's in his? Oh, Mono League. No
Mana
prohibit.
League.
No
Okay.
prohibit, sir.
All
Just
right.
pay 3 or say nay, and
Yeah. All right. So, yeah.
Kai cannot pay 3. So Kai passes the turn. His board is Survival, Underground, Land War, Yavimaya, and Birds. Pat untaps with a Dust Bowl, 2 islands, of plains. He taps out, jams Factor Fiction in the main phase.
All right. We're looking for these land
Unafraid.
drops.
Yeah, just unafraid.
I mean,
I imagine
yeah.
he has a null in there in that hand then.
Well, yeah. Maybe there's a null. Maybe there's just no counter magic. It's like I have no reactive spells.
Or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe just
Or nothing. Or
yeah. Just
nothing. Oh,
nothing.
geez, Louise.
All right. So we hit a lot
So
of lands.
land, but still, it includes impulse and swords, and that looks like a another dust bowl.
Okay.
Is
Dust
that an
Bowl.
altered dust bowl? So it's
Yeah.
Adakar waste, swords, island, dust bowl, impulse, swords in one pile, of course. Swords has to go in a pile. But we're saying maybe it's swords and everything else. I don't know.
Wow. So the only thing I would mention is doing swords against makes Patrick's Dust Bowl really powerful because you just give him 3 lands to strip mine your own lands.
Oh my gosh.
I would be aware of that. If I were Patrick, I would definitely take the bigger pile. And
He
just
made the pile that it was those were the 2
yeah,
piles. It was swords, and then the other pile is 3 lands plus impulse.
yeah.
My goodness.
So
So
yeah,
Kai's like, let me write that down, sir. So you got Adakar Waste, Island, Dust Bowl, Impulse. Crazy, crazy piling. But again, he must have some heat. I got to assume Kai is looking for the stifle or something to put the dreadnought in play, right?
ooh, wow. I mean, you could stifle Dust Bowl activations. That would be pretty powerful. That'd be a strong play.
Well, that's why I'm sure he's probably not so worried about the Dust Bowl because he says, I have a
Yeah.
12-12 in hand. I just got to figure out how to get it into play.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay, so yeah, getting rid of the plow heavily indicates that some sort of giant artifact monster might be in the works.
So Kai moves to his draw. In the yard, he has Fiend on top with Hypnox underneath that, with the
Mm-hmm.
Shapeshifter underneath that. Access to 4 green or 3 green, so we can survival 3 times. I don't know why, but maybe we want to do that for a lot of shenanigans.
A lot of shenanigans. What we really wish is we had like a bunch of like secure tribe elders, so we could just go get more lands. Like I feel like if Kai just had like 2
Also,
more
lands that weren't
lands,
painful, right? The
yeah,
making green as over these last turns, he's incurred 6 damage or something.
yeah, Kai's taking like 3 or 4 damage a turn from the lands and the meddling mage grizzly bear beatdown. Eventually, that's going to become relevant.
Yeah, so he's at 9 now against 19. He survival activates pitching shapeshifter.
Yep, can't play it. The meddling
Can't
mage is
play it
chanting it out.
still. What can we play for 3 mana? That's relevant. Again, what can we be doing here?
Psychotog. Psychotog would be big.
It's big. It's going to be bigger than probably meddling mage. We stopped the bleeding. Stop the bleeding from the meddling mage.
Yeah, this might be time to just go get Psychotog.
And now is probably the time to get it down in the face of the Dust Bowls, right?
Yeah,
You can cast,
yeah.
You can
Yeah, we
cast
got a
the
bunch of
thing.
stuff in our graveyard. Yeah, Psychotog could just dominate the board for a while. 2 plows are already gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's just Psychotog time.
Looking at the list, I feel like that's where we're at. We got to go Togging.
And yes, Kai agrees. Dr. Teeth in the house.
Kai agrees. It's like, and I'm sure he's seeing that too. He's like, we got to get it down. We got the mana now. We got to try to go for it here.
Okay, so we take another damage. Play the Psychotog. Yeah. Okay, that's a decent plan C. That's gonna have to be answered.
4 cards total in the yard. We're tapped out though for Kai, so he can't add any more cards to the yard at this point.
All right. So I don't think. I mean, if Patrick randomly just like slow rolling plow number 3, that would be insane.
It's like bloop.
Oh yeah, just had it. Uh, but yeah, this is gonna force some thought on Patrick's part. Like, what do I do now?
Uh, what is he doing? What is he doing? Is he gonna
Maybe
force? He has
maybe it's
force. He's
force
like, you
pitching
gave me the blue
impulse.
card. You gave me
Force
the
pitch
blue card.
impulse could be.
Oh goodness! It is the third plow.
Wow!
Slow
What a
rolled.
master.
Oh my gosh!
Okay,
So Kai's
well,
hopes and dreams are slowly being dashed away here.
yeah, slowly being
Um,
exiled.
yeah, indeed. Um, in exile. So he's thinking about it. Do I gain
He'll
life?
gain an extra
Yeah,
life. Yeah,
gain
sure.
life. I'm gonna gain life. I don't care.
Woof. Man. Okay. Plow number 3. Yeah, Dr. Teeth. It's nice knowing you, buddy.
Woof. Woof. So he shows that it looks like he knows now about three cards. He doesn't know about two. Patrick goes to his draw.
Yeah.
Six cards in hand. He's gonna make a land drop.
We know he's got those.
And he's gonna bash with a meddling mage.
Yeah. Don't forget to attack.
Patrick, please refresh your life total. I don't think it matters, but
Yeah. All right. So Kai's down to 8, and I think Patrick's like 18 or 17, something like that.
yeah, 19, I think he was.
Yeah, 19. I don't think any damage has happened since.
If
And
Kai's
yeah.
gonna kill him, it's gonna be very fast anyway, right? So,
Yeah.
let's see what we can do. Impulse, main phase. Let's find that swords number 4, just the insurance swords. Maybe a seal of cleansing. I'm sure I'll take that if I'm Patrick.
We'll take a counter spell. We'll take a swords. We'll take a decree of justice. The world is our oyster. There are like
All
so few
that.
bad cards at this
Or
point in the
a
game.
second meddling mage. Oh gosh, stand still it is.
Okay, that's a good magic card.
Stand still it is. So we play a standstill, leaving up an outer car waste and an island. Looks like we have 4 total cards in hand.
Yeah.
And you already attacked with the meddling mage, so
just take care of some bookkeeping.
Yep.
We've got the stranglehold is happening right now.
Yeah, it's the door is closing for Kai. Meddling mage has kind of stopped his plan of using the shapeshifter to do stuff.
Oof. Okay, so yeah, we're just doing this the hard way. We're casting Cabal Therapy into the standstill.
Okay, yeah, break standstill right away. Kai's deck probably needs to do that, especially at this phase of the game. There's no sense to wait around. You cannot wait around. You got to check it out, right? You're going to draw 3 cards and see what he's got.
Yeah, Patrick has pressure on board, and if we wait around, all of our lands could just be blown up by the Dust Bowls. So we should just shove and hope it works out.
Yeah. So Patrick is tanking, thinking. Is he thinking about countering the Cabal Therapy? Okay, sure.
I mean, if you drew 2 counter spells, maybe, or 2 Force of Wills.
But, yeah, it would tap him out. I don't think. But at the same time, by leaving Kai in the dark, All right, so Patrick decides to let him call it. We assume he called something like swords. We reveal humility.
Okay.
So there's the double humility.
Okay, so that was the thing. Like, having doubles would have been a real blowout, and if humility had randomly been named, that would have been pretty awful. Though I think even without the humilities, like, we're probably still winning anyway.
Well, yeah, and he wanted to just say, you're going to not name humility, and I can now mono-leak your flashback on humility if that's your plan, right? So maybe, hopefully, Kai has one more Cabal Therapy.
No. If we flash it back, that doesn't cost any mana, so we can pay the 3 mana.
We could pay. Okay. Yeah. So, but do we want to do that? Why do we want to do that?
No, I feel like we have to do that, but we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that, but we have to. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, we just can't really ever. If a humility did show up, we could just like never do anything again.
Right? Because
we just had.
Yeah, because you have the decree already. You see the decree that Pat has, right?
Yeah,
So one
yeah.
ones are
We
one
gotta
ones.
we gotta get this get some combination of these cards out of here. So yeah, we get the
Okay, so
humilities out of here.
he does name humility. It
Okay.
resolves. It's not mono-leaked, so we still have mono-leak available on Pat's side. The cards are known. We have E-Tutor, we have mono-leak, we have decree, we have impulse, and we have a dust bowl.
Yeah, this decree means that so instead of blowing up uh Kai's lands, we could just make a bunch of guys and in the
And
game very
then
quickly.
kill him, which is
Yeah,
likely, yeah, what he'll do, right?
yeah, uh, yeah. With all these lands being pain lands now, just be aggressive and finish this.
Looks like Pat's in that mode. He untaps quickly, draws his card
Yeah.
for turn, checks it out. He has two unknowns, plays the Dust Bowl, bashes for two, takes Kai down to six.
Woof. Oh, Kai's at 6. Yeah, this decree is like lethal then. Yeah, I can make 4 tokens with the decree. So the decree is lethal plus the meddling mage. So Kai will need to play some blockers or do something like that.
Yeah, I can imagine Kai will scoop it up this turn, but maybe he wants to see his next draw. Maybe he has an idea how to navigate this with survival. There's a
Duress,
duress.
right on
Duress.
time. Duress.
Okay. Duress could be clearing the way for the Hypnox.
Oh
The
yes,
the
please.
Voras Shapeshifter unearthed into Hypnox. But probably just monoleak it, right? No need to mess around. Just delays the decree a turn, right? Or you can decree for a smaller amount. But
Yeah, there's no big concerns here.
yeah.
We can mana leak because if
And
Kai
then we
doesn't
can
play,
e-tutor anyway. You just
yeah,
e-tutor for the
for
other
like
standstill.
standstill.
Or yeah, or you just cycle anyway, make a
All
few
right, make
dudes,
some
right?
guys.
Make
Yeah,
a few. It's still what?
it's four
Kai had to
power.
take a damage there to cast that.
Yeah, so then
So
Kai will just
five
be locked
damage.
off of colored spells
Did
because of
he?
the pain
Yeah,
lands.
there you go.
So that's
So
perfectly fine.
it's yeah. Unfortunately, that probably locks it up. Yeah. Oh, Kai's doing stuff. Kai's doing
Oh, we're
stuff.
stifling the. So we can stifle either the drawing of the card or the making of the soldiers. I'm sure it's the making of the soldiers that's being stifled
Yeah.
here. Okay, okay. We staunch the bleeding a little bit.
Okay. So you can expect that then Kai was just waiting for to try a window to get his go get a dreadnought and put it in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think
Oh
that's what
man.
we're shooting for, and we just like can never put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. We still got the the meddling mage that could just going all the way. So Patrick is tanking on their upkeep because we could e-tutor for like standstill or seal of cleansing if we were so inclined. But we'll just take a natural draw step. Sure.
Natural draw. What do we do? Bash. That
Bash.
furnace.
Oh, okay.
Insult to
So
injury.
yeah,
Uh,
the graveyard is just like unlock. Um, the only really graveyard relevant card at this point, if the unearthed got drawn, okay, that's off the
right.
table. And now, like in some weird longer game where our lands didn't damage us, Genesis would be very good graveyard card. But because of Kai's mana base, that's not really even an out.
Kai
All right,
draws
there's
and
that
flips
forest.
over a
We
forest
we
and
did that forest
scoops it
so much
up.
earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Saved us like 6 damage.
Yeah, Kai's looking at the forest. Where were you, sir?
Yeah.
Where were you?
Yeah, so we had mentioned that the mana bases in this format are a little sketchy, and so Kai's deck was in Sultai colors, and playing 3 colors in this format can be very difficult. And so there's a cost. In this case, is a lot of damage from their own lands. Uh, so yeah, tricky business about this format. The other thing is it's so with these games didn't take very long, but it's always as a commentator, you always want to hype up both the decks. And at the end of the game, when blue white wins, well, what did the other deck do? Well, nothing, because blue white stopped anything for interesting happening.
Why you gotta be the Grinch, blue white? No, that's
Yeah,
a pretty good game. I mean, Kai did what he could do with the cards he was dealt. Patrick, played efficiently again with the cards he had and that he drew. So I think that is the best we can have as the Feb player. Like, you know, it's going to be difficult against this in this matchup for sure.
Yeah. Whenever assembling a bunch of disparate pieces together, Landstill is going to pick those pieces apart. It's pretty good for that, especially when all of your combo, you don't blindside them. Like, let's say you're playing Tinker, then everything important mostly just happens like on the stack. But here we
Right.
have this combo deck that involves creatures, so there are no dead cards in the Landstill deck to like deny your combo from happening.
Right.
Uh, and yeah, this meddling mage actually showed up and really kind of put the boots to one half the combo anyway. So
Yeah.
meddling mage, what a great card.
Name any card, and they can't play it.
Yeah,
It's too good. Too good.
exactly.
So that's wraps up our first match of the evening, and that was Naughty Feb versus
Mm-hmm.
Blue White Standstill, and Blue White Standstill takes it down 2-0. So I think we're going to take a little bit of a break. I don't know if we've already cut, but thanks for tuning in so far, and come back for some more awesome magic here very shortly.
Yeah, we've got another match queued up for you. So just give us a few minutes and we'll have that out. All right, we're back.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, we've got some more magic. There's going to be no blue white control in this match, so you can count on
So
people's spells resolving and people's creatures not being instantly exiled. It'll be very different.
it will be different, and also you can probably expect some survival activations in this game as well. So we're going to see some more survival activations that hopefully will be a little more profitable than they were in our first match, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we have a full English breakfast recursor version. So we've got 4 recurring nightmares. We also have Tradewind Rider, and then we have the full English breakfast combo with right. Am I just being goofy? Is there? Well, maybe there's. Okay, no, there's no full English breakfast combo. There's no Volrash shapeshifter. We're just trying to recurring nightmare some guys out, some creatures
Right.
out.
So
Okay.
you can bring a chroma back with your recurring nightmare. I believe there is also a um, Palincron in the list. So yeah,
Right.
so there's a combo in there with the Palincron and
Recurring
the
nightmare plus deranged hermit is a
Hermit.
combo. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then yeah, we've got the trade one riders who just like bounce everything. Uh okay, that's exciting. That's exciting. And then in the other corner,
Palincron plus Wall of Blossoms is it, right? That draws your deck. You can play everything. Do I see a Wall of
yes,
Blossoms? I don't
yes.
see a
There
Wall
are
of
4
Blossoms.
wall of blossoms.
There is.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All
So
right.
yeah. All
All
right.
right. So we're into action.
Yeah, it's
Mike
happening.
Clements. Mike Clements.
Okay, so the
Foily
elf deck
Forest.
leads.
Elf. Not
So
elf. We have a
no, it's an
Wirewood symbiote.
insect.
Yeah,
So I feel
Wirewood
like this has
symbiote.
got to be one of the weaker openings. We want to open with a Fendhorn or Llanowar elf like every game. When we play
Right.
7 of these cards in our deck, I feel like every game we want to open with one. So yeah, and now the survival deck is stealing the plate back because they get to open with the bird.
With the
Um,
bird, yeah. Forest
so
bird is probably stronger. Though
Oh,
Cradle
oh,
kind of brings us back
oh, okay,
potentially.
okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I hear that when your lands tap for more than 1 mana, it breaks the fundamental rule of Magic. How do you? What's your take on that?
I love it when that happens. Like I think I mentioned earlier, I like the workshop, and
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
we play Mike adds a Priest of Titania. He taps his Cradle for just
mhm.
one to add a Priest of Titania, and he bashes in with his Wirewood symbiote, predictably unblocked by the birds.
Okay, so next turn, Elves is gonna have unlimited mana, basically.
It looks like. I mean, we can imagine he's going to add one or more, probably a Q Ranger. I would say Quirion, yes,
Yeah,
Quirion
Aquarian
Ranger,
Ranger.
and that will add, some untapping ability,
Yeah,
um,
just
along with our insect, right? So I
yeah,
can
and
imagine the rest of the hand gets played.
yeah, just everything is gonna get dropped, So if there's like a plow under in hand, if there's a bunch of elves, all right, mesmeric Fiend. Yeah,
Mez Fiend. Okay, well, if you don't have survival here, that's
yeah.
definitely reasonable. And
Okay,
if
so maybe
you can
yeah.
imagine he doesn't have the survival then, right?
Okay, we have Multani's Acolyte, Priest of Titania, Elvis Champion. So we were just going to like very quickly forest walk our way. That was the plan. We were gonna
Right.
forest walk and just like get in that way. Um,
So
so
champion, but the Multani's Acolyte plus the insect creates a lot of cards, right?
yeah. We've got Elvis Visionary. The original Elvis Visionary plus symbiote. That's a combo. So yeah, we've got it set up for the long game with drawing extra cards, and in the short game we can try and forest walk over. So there's a lot
Yeah.
to respect that the survival decks have to play through.
Yeah. If I'm David on the survival deck, I am not happy about seeing this.
Yeah. All right. So we
Acolyte. So he says I can probably race you. I don't want you to draw more cards.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Hopefully, we have another land for our survival player. This would be yes, we do. We do. Good, good, good.
Okay.
And pass. Okay.
Gonna pass. Okay, but we're building our board. So Mike draws. He has a Cradle, Forest, Priest of Titania and a Wirewood Symbiote in play. He can play all the cards we know about. He adds a Brushland.
Woof. That's for Armageddon.
Yeah, very nice. And it's nice
Okay.
because if he draws an Armageddon, he has a second Cradle on lock, ready to
What
go.
are we doing here?
Okay, making two off the Cradle. Add a colorless for the with the Brushland and play the champion, giving our things Forest Walk, our elves Forest Walk.
Yeah, +1/+1 and Forest Walk.
We're gonna bash in for two with
No, we
our
make two. We just
make
play
two,
priest.
play a second priest.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
All right. So
but he doesn't
pass.
want to get it got right, so
Yeah.
he doesn't
So
want
this
to
is
get fiended
this
again.
is fine. If you're the survival player, like you're getting hit for 4 unblockable damage a turn on board, but hopefully you can cobble together something interesting to do before that gets you. Uh,
Right, right. Though again, I mean, not having survival, I would guess you don't have it if you're going Mez Fiend on turn two because you would have had an activation additionally because you had the bird, right? So it doesn't make sense that he would have gone to this line if he has the survival, right?
Yeah, well, the problem is if you have the survival and you think that the elf player is just like going to somehow do something really degenerate, it could be worth it to take a turn off to mesmer fiend them if you think you're
But
getting like plow under it or something like that.
but are you going to race at this point? Can he make a guy next turn? I guess he probably can. He can go get Squee. He can
Yeah.
get
Oh yeah,
he
the
can
bird and a land are available. So yeah, we can do things with survival.
he can get Squee on his turn. He can Squee for, but again, he doesn't have like a combo here, right?
We well we if we just get we need it takes a yeah, we're in a little bit of delay, but we need to get Tradewind Rider
Tradewind
going.
Rider,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So he should activate here and get a Squee, right?
yeah, activate for Squee, activate for Tradewind Rider, and then we want to the following turn act somehow get a Deranged Hermit into play, and then I think we're good. We can
That's
just keep
Granger that he
yeah.
ditched, yeah. Granger is the searching for a basic of some sort, right?
Oh, what a great card. Okay, so all right, let's see if our survival player agrees with us. Maybe the survival player has a recurring nightmare in their hand and has some even more degenerate plan.
Some other shenanigans ready to go.
Yeah, but I think that we want to get Tradewind Rider into Tradewind Rider going. I think will really
Right.
save us here.
Well, four recurring nightmare are in the deck, so I can definitely imagine that there's might be one in their hand, right?
Yeah, four
So
seems like an awful lot.
if there is one in their hand, you could still get Squee. You can still ditch Squee next
Mm-hmm.
turn. Oh, he has the birds right now, so he got Squee and is surviving again at the
Yeah,
end of Mike's turn. Okay, this is good for
yeah.
David, right?
Something powerful should happen this turn. We all of our pieces. We've got the mana. We've got the tutors. We should be able to cobble this together into something
For sure,
that'll beat 6 power of unblockable creatures in some fashion.
for
Is there a
sure.
Bone Shredder in the deck? I think it's just bouncing
There
stuff.
is there is a
Oh
Bone
yeah,
Shredder.
even a Bone Shredder would be good enough. Is
Just whack the champion right here,
yeah.
right?
Well, that doesn't really work because we can bounce the champion with the symbiote. So
Okay, so you have
yeah.
to hit the symbiote, but
So actually, just bouncing things is better. Like Man of War or specifically Tradewind Rider. I think that's just
yeah,
what we
you
want
can
to do.
shred the symbiote first, right? And then, uh, yeah, but Trade Room Rider probably want to get online sooner than later.
All right, give me just 1 second. I'm going to turn on the lights in my room. I realize now it's getting a little dark. Just give me half a second. I'll be right back.
Sun is going down. So now the Woodrow's gone. No, we're still tanking, so I can't. I'm not taking us off the rails yet. Okay, so but David does agree with kind of our assessment and what Woodrow was
All right.
saying that we should go for Trade Rider. So he did go for that Woodrow, as you kind of suggested. You want to get that online sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because this is a tap activation ability. There's no haste granting effects, So we just go get this, and the next turn we just kind of prevent any interesting creatures from being in play because we have
Right.
Tradewind Rider. So we really want to draw another land this turn so we can activate Survival and play Tradewind Rider. Tradewind Rider randomly has 4 toughness, so it's just like insane at blocking.
Now, here's that extra land.
All
So
right, yeah,
good.
it's all coming together.
Ask and ye shall receive.
So we're gonna get bashed one more turn, and then that'll be it.
Then yeah, yes, that'll be nice.
Because now we can survive away the squee and get the squirrel guy, and that'll lock up the board. So there's just like one more elf attack.
I like that line. I like that line. So what is Mike possibly drawn here that he's tanking?
Yeah, there's really not a lot to do.
Just
Uh,
send the team in the forest, right?
yeah, you send that you can't even attack freely with the champion because it could be blocked by a combination of Tradewind Rider plus Mesmeric Fiend. So yeah,
Right.
just send in the unblockable creatures. Um, and then after this, they're going to be blocked. And this is tough because the elf deck's way around this is like Armageddon, which doesn't really work once all this stuff is in play. Also, Biorhythm doesn't work because the survival deck will also have a bunch of creatures.
Right.
This is a
I
little
mean, a
tricky.
biorhythm here would effectively end the game, though, because we can walk through the forest.
Yes, yeah. If we were able to buy them before the Tradewind Rider was active, we would be good.
Right.
But now that we're in this kind of lock, uh, I think that the survival player would have to make a mistake to lose the game, because Tradewind Rider plus a bunch of creatures. Okay. Oh, what did we get? We get the Bone Shredder instead of the Deranged Hermit.
Shredder.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll
Okay.
just take out the symbiote, so then
Mhm.
he to force the issue on the or bounce the symbiote first, right? And
Yeah.
then shred the champion.
Okay.
And maybe again he has other stuff he wants to do, or just keep another survival activation available.
Hmm.
He's bouncing it,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have priority to do it yet, and it will
That's
be David's priority after the survival activation goes into his hand. But David can't do anything anyway, so
Yeah, it
that was
doesn't.
at the end of
I
his
think
turn.
I think we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. There's no reason to bounce the champion until it was actively being targeted. I don't think,
Right,
or until something else was happening. Just bouncing it for bouncing its sake, I don't think really gets us anywhere. I mean, I guess by doing that, we're guaranteed that Bone Shredder is never going to get it because we play it on our turn and then bounce
right.
it. Bone Shredder is only in a sorcery, so
But
that's
we
not.
can shred, right? We shred away the symbiote. You
Yeah,
can't play the champion because it's going to get bounced immediately before attacks, right? So,
yeah.
and I guess you'll be able to replay it with your second cradle, but who cares if you replay it?
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I'm not sure why we decided we had to activate that right then. We could have.
Yeah. We don't know the third card, the
Yeah,
unknown card, but
there could be something going on. All right, so we're gonna activate survival. Like the reason we didn't get the squirrel making elf was we wanted in to have mana to keep activating survival. Would be my thinking.
right.
So that's what we're doing. And there's Squee, everybody's favorite goblin.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate David's aesthetic of cards. I don't assume that there is a planned aesthetic, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah, we've got a lot of modern cards. We've got modern Squee. We've got like M10 or something Yavimaya coasts. The
Again,
gold border Tradewind Riders.
definitely in the spirit of playing. I mean, if you're playing with me, I don't care. I like it all. I like the gold
Okay.
border one the best, I think. But
Yeah.
all right, Mike's turn. He has the champion in hand. He has he has a Gaia's Cradle. He has a Brushland, a Forest. He has Land of War, Elves, 2 Priests, and a Symbiote in play. 2 unknown cards to us, with a champion and a cradle also in his hand. The
Yeah, I
board
don't I
on
don't
I was just gonna say the board on the
mm,
other side looks pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it's really hard, like because of the Tradewind writer, like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing. Well, is that thing a permanent? Yes, I will bounce that permanent back to your hand. It's like, oh, there's no like way to get around that problem. And when you're playing a deck, called Elves, your deck is 30 creatures. Then odds are that the Tradewind writer is going to be very problematic once we get
Oh
to the stage of
gosh,
the game.
was the one of those
Mhm.
unknowns Armageddon?
Uh, so Armageddon. So the problem is, so yeah, I mean, I don't think we can win if we don't cast Armageddon. And so I think David played very conservatively and got this other bird to help play
Right.
around Armageddon. Um, so yeah, if we did Geddon now, that's
Why
definitely
didn't we shred something? I guess is my question. Why didn't we shred
yeah.
something? Here's
Why did we
Armageddon.
why did we
Okay.
pass with all this mana? We weren't. Oh my God, does David have like Mystic Snake in their hand? That would
Oh
be.
dang! He could survival for Mystic Snake and cast it right now.
No, I think one of the birds is summoning sick.
Oh,
But yeah, if we
oh,
could survival for Mystic Snake right now, that would be insane. That would be.
oh gosh.
Yeah, Mystic Snake would just be like the biggest
Oh
play.
man.
Just reaching for the
Uh,
mana.
uh,
This is an
uh,
ominous like slow roll of the mana here.
I mean, yeah. Does he just have it in his hand? He has mana to cast it. He has
Yeah.
Yavimaya City of Brass. He can make green. He's tapping 3 mana plus the bird. Here it comes. Mystic Snake.
Whoa.
Mystic
Is this
Snake.
is this real life? Well, I mean, we're bolting ourselves to play Mystic Snake, but well, no, we'd only have to take 2 damage to play Mystic Snake, I think. But all right,
It is
well,
Mystic Snake.
yeah,
None of the
sometimes,
elves on the other side have Forest Walk, so he's
yeah,
basically jammed up at this point. Mystic Snake counters Armageddon.
oof, oof.
Mike
Okay,
adds a plains to the board to
all
do
right,
what?
so we
To
can
oh,
play
okay,
our guy, and then
get it
it's
bounced, right?
yeah, it'll just get bounced. And the Mystic Snake being a 2/2 is infuriating because it'll get bounced and the Mystic Snake will eat one of our one
Eat one
ones.
of the things. Oh wow,
Yeah, Mystic
this
Snake.
is nice. This is when like you're like this is why I built
Yeah,
this deck this
the
way. This
Mystic
is
Snake too
Dave,
spicy.
David's friends who told him that that was a bad card. They're like, dude, don't
No,
play Mystic Snake. Why are you playing
no,
the
no,
Mystic?
no,
He's
no,
like,
no. You
this is
gotta,
why.
you
He's
gotta have the
he's
Mystic Snake.
he's calling them, telling them right now,
All
like,
right,
you
so
guys
whoever
saw
gets
that on
blocked, we
stream.
can bounce with the symbiote and prevent from getting killed. So it's not the end of the world. Yeah, we bounce
Sure.
untapped, so it's not bad. But yeah, so we forced through 2 damage. It's worth noting that Dave has taken damage from the mana base and from the unblockable beats. Dave is going to, I think, be pretty low. So Dave's gonna have to navigate this very carefully, which shouldn't be a problem. Once again, if we just play out the deranged hermit, I think
Right.
that'll lock up the board. It'll be really hard to lose from that position.
Right. Well, notably, he has 4 creatures besides the current Tradewind Rider,
Yeah.
and he could um, he could add another Tradewind Rider were he to find one with survival.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely something we could do, but I think first we just want to get the squirrels into play, because then next time there's no like free attacks. We bounce and we bounce the guy who gives everybody unblockable, and we have a bunch of like 2/2 squirrels that are mysteriously bigger and stronger than elves. The squirrels are just swole or something.
They have hermit power. They're
Yeah,
deranged.
yeah, they're crazy. You don't know where they've been.
So okay, so back to David. He
All
picks up his
right.
squee. He draws his card.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, we started the stabilization here.
so notably, David has a card called Spike Feeder in his deck, right? Is that in his deck? Yeah.
Let's take a look. Okay, then yeah,
So we could just do that now to not die, and then just bounce, stuff and kind of be able to block.
yeah. So yeah, spike feeder is good. We just get a bunch of walls of blossoms and block with those. That's good. It's real. It's looking real strong.
Until we find our recurring nightmare, then we can put in a chroma into play, right?
Oh yeah, just randomly cruise over with the Air Force. Um, Yeah, so the burden is definitely on David to
Though,
navigate this
yeah,
turns
there is some
correctly.
navigation required here for sure. And what can Mike top deck? Can Mike top deck something to put it away on his side? Can he do a second champion maybe?
Okay, so
What are we shredding? We're gonna shred the symbiote here. I'm assuming, yeah.
okay, so yeah, if we did get like a second champion, um, then yeah, right now we can only bounce one of the champions. So second champion would be pretty good. If there's an overrun elf like tribal force mage or something, that would be good. We need some other like pump, some other special guy or something like that.
Right.
Just one is not enough.
I think yeah. If I'm Mike, I want a second champion here, and that should lock
Mm.
it up. I think.
Yeah, second champion would be lethal. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, he's doing stuff. Maybe
yeah.
maybe it was that.
Could be.
He's thinking, how do I tap to make? We tap the Gaia's Cradle, makes three.
Yeah. So we
The
can't buy
Forest
with them
makes another
because our
one.
opponent has more creatures than we do,
Oh
and could
yeah.
like bounce our creatures in response. That would be very
Oh,
awkward.
that would be funny.
Okay, so we're gonna draw a card, right? That's the acolyte.
Acolyte, yeah, acolyte.
Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. Redraws. This acolyte would have been really sweet when we had a Wirewood symbiote in play, so this is a little
Indeed,
unfortunate.
indeed.
But I like it when my cards all just cycle.
So yeah, and we have that other cradle, ready to
Yeah,
go.
mana is definitely not an issue. No matter what our plan ends up being, we're going to have mana to execute that plan. Yeah, we'll just play this guy to get bounced because Okay,
Now Mike's like, I'm still in my main phase. Do you want to do anything? You want to do anything now in my main phase?
no, no, sir.
David's like,
Let
no, you can go to attack. You can go to
Yeah,
attack.
let's move it on.
Are you sure? I'm in my main phase right now.
No, no. Pass to next phase.
I'm thinking, yeah, like Mike's like, this is the only way. He has to bounce it
Yeah.
right now. He can replay
Misclick, misclick.
That's what you said earlier. Yeah. You're hoping for the disconnect. Yeah. So what is Mike thinking here? What is Mike thinking?
He's thinking how many creatures would I lose if I attacked in this situation, and is it worth it?
Yeah, if he goes to bounce my thing,
Yeah.
well, again, but he can like, oh yeah, he has to bounce it before blocks to be able to
Yeah.
block,
So,
right?
but then we can just leave like the Bone Shredder and Mystic Snake back to block, and those will kill two creatures. So basically, we'll be losing two creatures for one damage. Is that worth it? Probably not. But the
Probably
problem is the
not.
game gets worse every turn because every turn the
It
survival
does.
deck is drawing an extra creature.
Wait,
Uh,
is he at 3?
yeah, he's really low.
Oh, so that's the rub. He's like, what do I do?
Yeah, maybe we.
Did Mike just
It,
say I attack with all? Is he?
well,
Did
he
Mike
can't
just
attack with
didn't?
the acolyte. Is if the acolyte can attack, I definitely think we're just like attack with all and like put.
So this is
But
before blocks. Mike is saying I'm going to go to blocks. What
well,
are you
no
doing?
creatures are
Who are you
tapped here,
bouncing?
so I mean,
Well, no, Mike must have said I'm going to go to attacks,
all right.
right?
Well,
So
yeah, you
that's
go
why
to
he's thinking
attacks.
about who to block, who to bounce, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we just block with the Bone Shredder and the Mystic Snake and eat two creatures. We take one. We're perfectly happy with that. Yeah, and we just have to be real careful with our own mana base. Always use our birds, basically. Never use our pain lands.
Right.
All right. And it doesn't really matter yet. We declare attackers. We tap the creatures. We say these are the attacking creatures, and then we say before blocks to get rid of the guy who
Okay,
makes
so
everything
now
unblockable.
Mike's saying go move to combat.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in combat. These are the guys. They're coming in. They're rumbling in. You can't see us because we got forest walk, and
Just through the
Dave is like,
forest.
well, actually, the guy, the Boy Scout guide who's showing you the secret path mysteriously gets bounced back to her hand in the middle of combat, so I can't see her creatures. And I'm pretty sure that
David deep in the tank here, right?
that we just trade off the Bone Shredder because we don't want to pay the Echo on the Bone Shredder. We've got Recurring Nightmares to get it back later, So I think Bone Shredder is the creature we
Bounce the
trade off.
champion as we
Yeah,
assumed.
and then we just trade off with these priestesses here. This is all good in the hood.
Priests. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
He subscribes to your Patreon. He knows what to do. Okay. Okay. So David continuing to navigate. Takes one, goes
All
to two.
right. Windswept
Mike's.
Teeth.
That was his
Not.
unknown card.
Yeah, that was
So
not the card that we were afraid of. It was not Windswept Teeth. So now
yeah.
David's like, we'll activate. We'll get a free creature off of the Squee.
Why do you play that if you're Mike though? Why do you play that
I
windswept
don't
teeth?
think you do, just because Armageddon is in your deck.
Right.
I guess you have to play it because you lost a lot of your mana creatures, and you're going to pay the Echo on the Acolyte. So maybe you do
Mm,
have to play that.
yeah. You can tap Cradle to pay Echo, but you only have
Yeah.
one forest. That makes
All
pain
right,
free
so
green.
we just go get Wall
Wall.
of Blossoms.
Yeah,
Sure,
baby.
sure.
Yeah. Draw a card.
Oh, we discarded his
Palancron. All
Palancron.
right. Here we
Heyo. Oh,
go.
it's okay.
There's a
Spike Feeder.
feeder.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's it. Like there might have been some hope that the Elf deck could like squeak out a little damage. But
Right.
now that the Spike Feeder's in the mix, that's not happening. And we can't
Right.
put Dave in a situation where he might have taken so much damage that his lands would not work.
Right.
With the Spike Feeder, we know that we'll be able to tap all our lands for mana and keep playing
Yeah,
Magic.
and he has two forests, so he can cast it pain free.
Yeah,
So Dave's just really now digging to find that recurring nightmare to lock it up. I think.
yeah. Um, or I mean, you just get enough creatures and more Tradewind Riders, you can bounce all your opponent's permanents.
Sure, sure. I mean, if he can take a turn at this point to add a trade wind rider to the board, like you said, I think he needs to get that feeder down to make sure that he doesn't get locked out of lands. But I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
and the
it's,
beauty
it's,
of this,
it's
we just want to
the,
play more creatures so we can have more creatures to activate with Tradewind
to
Rider.
activate. It's just, he's like, "Ah, more guys, more guys."
Yeah,
There's the
that
feeder.
seems
Nice,
good. Seems good.
my old friend Spike Feeder. So Spike Feeder gets two counters. There's two abilities. One ability is remove a counter to gain 2 life.
That's what we're
Um,
really keying in on at this point in the
yeah.
game.
So that's what we want to do is gain 2 life. That ability doesn't require any mana to activate, notably. So that's a good
Yes.
thing.
Um,
Additionally, you can remove a counter to add a counter to another creature.
does the moving of the counters that takes a mana, right?
No, neither
No,
one
oh
does.
man, that makes okay. So I think I threw away a game at a PTQ because I like didn't understand how that worked, and I just like died on board because I was like, oh, this is blocked. He's like, I'll move all the counters over here. I was like, oh, whoops,
Oh no, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It
Okay,
costs two. It costs two.
okay. Well,
The
I
chat, I'm
still,
sure, is yelling and screaming. They're like,
yeah,
"What a friggin' idiot!"
yeah.
That
Well,
card's in my deck this league, so I should, But I never used that mode.
it's never come up. Well, I still threw away that match in the PTQ, so I guess my opponent just had mana up, and I was just let him kill me for no reason. Okay, so yeah, we're doing some cradle things. We're tapping some
Cradle, yeah.
mana.
Back in this, Mike is battling.
Okay,
Even though he has
all
more
right.
life. Oh,
It
okay.
showed up a little late, but yeah, we can get some more elves. We have another cradle to like really throw them all down there.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't
So
really
this
want to
is a
bounce this creature.
Sylvan Messenger, right?
Messenger,
That's what.
yeah,
Yeah.
Goblin Ringleader, who is an
4
elf.
elves. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a whole
So
cycle. So the humans were looking for soldiers. Uh,
okay.
I don't know what the blue one was. I would assume merfolk, but I don't think that's true. No, maybe the blue one was wizards, which is why we don't talk about it or something.
Acolytes.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, there's there's a lot of good wizards.
Yeah, there are.
Now I want to know what it is.
Yeah, but
Um,
there's a blue one in this cycle. All right, chat, get good. What is the blue of the cycle?
so we're thinking what we're doing here. Seems like David is tanking again.
I think what we do is say yes, this resolves. I mean, so if David wanted to be spectacularly fancy and
Yeah,
probably
bounce his
lose the
own
game
Mystic Snake and
and
counter
counter
it
it,
with
but
Mystic
that
Snake.
leaves you so open to so many things. I don't think that risk is worth it
He
at
knows
all.
what's in his hand, though. He knows what's
That's true,
there.
man. So we
So there's no
counter.
real risk. Oh,
Well, there's
What
so their
land did he
opponent then
play?
goes Gaia's
Did he? Oh, he
Cradle.
has Cradle again. So
Yeah,
Cradle.
Cradle champion and can, but only the Acolyte can attack. So the Cradle champion, you get beamed by the Acolyte. I feel like it's not worth. I feel like it's just not worth it. I feel like it just really doesn't matter. Okay, well, okay. So Deranged Hermit is a
He
real
hit a
Magic card.
D Hermit. See, that's
Okay.
why I felt like this you should have countered that, right? Because
Mm,
if you pick up your own Mystic Snake, you counter that thing, you force him to play land champion, you gain 4 life, right? And
mhm.
then you take 3, and he's got no cards in hand.
Yeah. Well, we can still counter the 5 drop on the way down.
We can,
Uh,
but we could have done it again and again. That's the whole point of the card in the
yeah,
deck, right?
yeah. We could set that up. Were we at that stage of the game? I keep like looking
We're
at
at
his
one
board.
life. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like we're at one life. What stage of the game do you want to be in before we, decide that we're going to try to kill the guy? And allowing that card to resolve is very much net cards for your opponent. He could have
Yeah,
whiffed, but
yeah. That's a way for them to get out of it.
I mean, unless we have a recurring nightmare in hand and we're gonna do it next turn, then
All right. So yeah, what are we doing here? Um. So yeah, our
so
own
we got
hermit.
Palincron down, right? So we have a combo piece.
Yeah.
Um, did we
Now,
play a
yeah, I
Wall
thought
of
we got a
Blossoms?
wall of blossoms. We
It's
didn't
in our
play it.
hand. It's in our
Yeah,
hand.
it's in our
So if we
hand.
have recurring nightmare draw, then we draw
Hmm.
our deck to find a chroma, and we should be able to kill you, right?
Right, right. Uh, what else are we looking for here? Well, actually, because black mana pains us, we can't do that.
Okay, so we've got a chroma though.
Okay, so we're just gonna go get a chroma and start bashing. That's perfectly legitimate. I will say, if this is the end of uh, Mike's turn, that we should activate the Tradewind Rider on something.
Right.
Possibly our own Mystic Snake, possibly one of these creatures out here, like just the Lanimer Elves is relevant, but we definitely should be activating it on
I
something.
guess I'm really pushing the Mystic Snake line only because it's in the deck, right?
Yeah,
Like I,
we're living all the
as
dreams.
the spectator on this side of the camera, right? I wanted to see that happen. Like,
All
hey,
right.
dude, look what I just the
Okay, so we
wall.
go and
Don't we
get
have a
Wall
wall?
Blossoms. So maybe David changed their mind and didn't get Wall of Blossoms last time. We got the Spike Feeder instead because we don't need 2 Wall of Blossoms.
Mm-mm-mm.
So
Maybe we want to. It's fine. Like
yeah,
as long as we keep the champion off the board, having 2 walls is good, right? We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
die.
yeah. So okay, here we are. So yeah, we're gonna bounce this Mystic Snake.
Okay,
Uh, I don't know. Maybe we
seems
should have.
fine.
Yeah, this is
I
a
don't
pretty.
know if you're bouncing it there, man. I mean, uh,
Yeah,
I'm just in the like you said we said earlier we're in the armchair quarterback seats now, so we can
yeah, you're
call it
right.
like we see it.
Okay, what are we doing here? Wall of Blossoms.
Wallow Blossoms, which I love this card, draws a card. I have a print
Okay.
of this. I haven't figured out where to hang it, but I love the art.
Okay, so you got to be very careful because now we need to activate our Spike Feeder first before we play Mystic Snake, if I'm understanding the life totals correctly,
Yeah, yeah,
because of our mana base.
for
Oh,
sure, for
okay. So
sure.
we drew Swamp. So now, never mind. If we have Recurring Nightmare, we can just
Oh,
draw
but
our
we
deck.
didn't. We just played Wall. Wait, why did we tap our
Yeah,
swamp
why do we tap the Swamp for that?
for mana? Oh no, I think David's being blinded by his permanent. He has too many permanents in
Okay,
play.
yeah, we got the lag on MTGO. Just the system's bogging down.
So yeah, so David passes back with a killer
Mm,
board.
yeah,
Again,
it's
he's
pretty
ready
hard.
with his Mystic Snake, right? He's ready
Yeah,
with the snake.
but
Um,
we're in a spot. If one of the cards that gets drawn is another champion, we're in a spot. Uh,
okay, so it's
yeah.
probably not a champion if you lead with the priest.
Mhm.
Priest resolves from Mike's side. He taps a forest and a plains to do so. Now he goes for Cradle, which will make 4 mana.
Yeah.
He goes for champion first, which will leave up one green. And we know that he has another cradle. So we know that the one green plus the cradle in hand would equal Hermit Druid. So he's going to. Now, don't do it, Dave. What are you doing?
Okay, so David is at 2, not 1, so we can't afford to take a. We can afford to take a pain.
Right.
So if we do decide to Mystic Snake this, I think that's we want to Mystic Snake the Deranged Hermit.
Right. Don't. That's why I said don't do it, Dave. Don't do
Okay,
it.
all right. So
Okay.
there's still a backup cradle, so we could just cradle Hermit.
But Hermit, then you get the tokens.
Yeah, that's a
Dave's being
problem.
blind. I'm sure this guy he's blinded by too many permanents. Because that cradle's just been
Mm,
chilling in Mike's hand for
yeah.
many turns,
We
right?
so we're gonna somehow need to like start. Ooh, now we're in a spot where we could lose. So we
Yeah.
need to get our own deranged hermit, like so bad. Do we need deranged hermit on our own side of
Though
the
the
board?
fact that the champion threat is gone, right,
Right. Yeah.
is pretty huge, right?
Yeah. We're still in
Um,
this. I mean, if we get
so
yeah
we can bounce the hermit and block all the tokens. We go get our own hermit now, right?
yeah
And juggle it a couple times with our. Well, where is our recurring
yeah, if we
nightmares?
just get recurring nightmare, like we can
Like
get like an infinite number of tokens. You know.
that's I'm David. I'm thinking, where is this card in my deck?
Yeah.
I know I put it
We're
in.
just
I
cycling
sleeved
through
it
these
up.
wall blossoms. We got four recurring nightmares and intuition in our deck. Like recurring nightmares instantly lethal on this board. Well, instantly we have infinite tokens and can draw our entire deck. So yeah, that would make the game really simple. And
But I mean, just chill at one life. That's cooler, right?
yeah, keep everybody in suspense. We do get to activate the Tradewind Rider. We can pick up the Mystic Snake again. Okay, yes. First, we're gonna gain some life.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, we're just gain. Okay, and then we're gonna bounce it back to her hand. That's fine. That's that's definitely you don't want to get like punked out by some random chip shot damage. Remember we've got a squee in our hand. We just gained 2 life. We might want to spend one of that life to activate squee. Nah. Okay,
Okay.
there we are.
I mean,
Play
I got like the Dirtles. I like the
yeah.
Dirtles. I mean, if you don't have the kill, he's still got to navigate, right? So that's what he's trying to
Okay.
figure it out.
What are we doing? What are we counting all of our creatures for? I didn't
Blocking purposes, probably, right?
blocking. What a crazy concept.
And he just wants that recurring
Really?
nightmare.
Just get the deranged guy. Get the deranged.
Get the hermit.
Good.
Woodrow says
Yeah.
hermit.
Hermit.
Does hermit is hermit hermit's not symmetric, is it? Does it give all squirrels +1
Whoa,
+1?
that'd be pretty silly. Then all the scrolls would be like 3/3s or something. Yeah, let me look that up. Squirrel creatures get +1/+1. So
Yeah.
yeah, all the squirrels would be 3/3s.
It is symmetric. That's
Yeah.
could be a problem for
Not
David.
really. You just want to trade them all off. You're worried about the elf player drawing like a symbiote because they can make a lot of tokens. That would be very
Right.
problematic.
Right.
All right, what are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Play this feeder again. We're playing the feeder back down.
Okay, that's fine. Spin our wheels, gain life.
It lets us counter whatever the thing
Yeah.
they're
Now
about
we
to
can
do
Mystic
is, right?
Snake. Uh, I am still worried about. Oh, our
Oh,
own Gaia's
our own
Cradle.
cradle that taps for
Never
4/8.
mind. Okay.
Can we do
The
this and not die?
oh yeah, there's
We're gonna
mana burn in this
we're gonna
format.
we're gonna about
Well,
to
no,
survival
no,
our
no,
whole
no.
deck.
Yeah. We just get to act. We can just throw these extra activations into survival.
Just keep
Um,
surviving our whole deck. Now
yeah.
he's trying to guarantee he draws recurring nightmare at this point, right?
Okay. We just go pull all the creatures out of our deck.
Like every creature, I'm just gonna keep showing you creatures, right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep showing you
So
and pitching them.
because mana burn does exist. Okay.
There's Hermit. He's like, this is
Yeah.
what I'm getting at the
Yeah, for
end. I'm
sure.
gonna
We're
do
getting
it
this
4
one.
more times. All right,
One,
Hermit. He's
two,
playing
three,
it.
4, 5,
Says I
6, 7,
play it.
8. So if we there's 8 green mana. If we um activated survival and got Hermit Druid, we have 2 green mana left in our
Okay,
pool.
okay. He's telling him, "Hey, mine does yours too, and yours
Yeah,
does
yeah.
mine."
So all these squirrels. Okay, so we're activating survival. We're throwing out this superfluous Birds of Paradise.
Birds down to get.
Who down? Get more Tradewind Riders. Get more Wall of
Okay, Wall of
Blossoms. Yeah.
Blossoms. Okay,
Right.
and
Yep. So now we're out of mana.
play our
Wall of
Wall of
Blossoms. So we just
Blossoms.
want to draw Recurring Nightmare right now. Would you draw Recurring
Right, like
Nightmare?
that's. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said though. I mean, and he keeps up enough mana where he can bounce his snake and counter whatever Mike
Yeah.
draws.
Not get punked out.
Right.
All
So
right.
and he can block everything.
Yeah. We are looking good. It's really hard to lose when you just draw an extra creature card every turn. And
Yeah. Biznonkers. Now, is he satisfied?
got
Is he gonna
all
pass it?
all
Is
these
he?
onboard tricks.
It's like I just want to make sure I see. I got 3 walls. They're pretty. They're all together. Got this snake. Oh, what
What
are
are we
we
doing
doing
here?
now?
Yeah. I know he casting duress. I mean,
Insult to injury. Or is here?
yeah.
Is it finally now the time? Is it time?
Wow, that just be like the biggest slow roll. If he just had like recurring nightmare the whole time. Okay, yeah.
Therapy. Okay. He's
Therapy.
like, show me that one. I want to
Yeah,
know
what
what that one
it's
is.
probably I don't even know what you name. What yeah,
Armageddon. You name Armageddon.
Armageddon. Okay,
Yeah.
Armageddon's problematic. It
Is it?
is collected company. What? That card's not legal. Oh man.
He's like, who
All
are
right.
you targeting? Who are you
Yeah.
targeting?
We need. Okay, it is Guy's
Cradle.
Cradle.
It's a shiny
Okay.
cradle though. Shiny
Oh
one.
yeah. Yep. So now we just pass. Whatever gets
Okay. Echo
played
though. Here's
can
Echo.
yeah can be countered by the Mystic Snake. I feel like this is kind of the hard
Ooh.
lock.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty looking pretty good if I'm David. Um
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could pay exactly 5 Echo just using the Priest, whereas if we use the Guy's Cradle, we will mana burn for a bunch.
right.
So I think that's what we're doing. Or we could tap all our lands in like a Llanowar Elf and pay the Echo that way.
He's thinking about it. He's like, my life's pretty high, but he's like, what can I play? If I get something I want to play, then I'll take the mana burn, right?
Yeah.
But then he's thinking if it's a one drop, but if it's a champion, you're still
Well,
taking a bunch, right?
yeah, it doesn't matter because if it's a champion, it's just getting countered by Mystic Snake. That's
True.
the problem. Like anything that we draw as a spell that's relevant will just be countered.
The
there,
number of
there's
elves is only it's all elves.
It's all L. Oh, it is. It's not symmetric. So there's a 6th elf, the Deranged Hermit, on Dave's side of the board. Um,
Right.
so we'll take like 1 mana burn. That's fine.
Yeah.
We got more. We
Yeah.
drew an irrelevant Windswept Heath.
Bummer.
Yeah, that feels bad, man.
So what do I do? I'm David. I'm gonna bounce what?
You
A
don't bounce.
token? Bounce a
You
token?
you could bounce it. I think we try and end the game and just bounce like Wall of Blossoms or okay, bounce Deranged Hermit so we don't have to pay the Echo and we can just out token our opponent. That's
There we
perfectly
go.
fine.
That's a good way to end the game.
Yeah, we just make more tokens, or we can draw Recurring Nightmare. That's the thing that could happen.
If they don't actually know each other's decks, maybe he's
Maybe
gotten
just
to
keep
this
that a
point.
secret.
Well, yeah, and maybe he decided that like a few turns back where he could have done it, but realized he didn't need to show it and decided to not.
That's possible. It doesn't really conceal a lot of information because we've shown the Palinchron and the Acroma. So if I'm David's opponent, I know that they're using their graveyard in some way. Uh,
Sure.
like if it either is Shapeshifter or it's Recurring Nightmare, that's not going to make a huge difference to me.
And
Um,
probably naturalize is coming in regardless.
yeah. So
So
I'm not.
so there's not a lot of incentive to hide it. Is
Yeah,
what
I
you're
don't think
saying.
that's going to adjust my sideboarding plan that much. All right, so we're gonna make like a bazillion mana.
Now's the time. He's like,
Yeah,
now's the time.
we're going to get our fourth wall of blossoms. Fourth wall of blossoms is the charm. Come on, we can do it. I believe. I believe in the wall of blossoms.
He's counting the number of creatures in his deck at this point, right? It's
Yeah.
got to be. There we go. We'll
All right,
just put
withered
it right into
wretch.
the
Not yeah.
graveyard.
We don't want to draw grizzly bears. Get out of here, withered wretch.
No, yeah, Withered Wretch, great card.
Yeah,
It always hoses any deck I play, right? But that's
yeah.
why it's in his deck. He's like, this is for you, Raja.
Not doing anything on the all creature matchup board.
Indeed, indeed. Some kind of resurrection spell gonna happen from Mike's side, I don't think. But yeah, he's just digging out the rest of the creatures, right? He's sick of drawing things that are not recurring nightmare.
Yeah, I guess so. Just kind of the world is David's oyster.
Right. And he has the hermit in hand to end on, right? Once he gets down to 5, he
Yeah.
just
All right,
continue
so we
getting
get rid of this superfluous bird.
keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
There's
got
no
all the
reason.
mana that we could need. All right, yeah, another Tradewind Rider. Lock it up.
That's
I
a way
like
to
it.
end. You play the hermit, you
Yeah,
play that rider, you end off there.
yeah. Then we're
And
bouncing like 2 permanents a turn. Just get every turn. It just the advantage becomes more and more insurmountable. We're getting to draw an extra creature. We're getting all these game
there's the
actions.
hermit again. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Another land down, all the permanents. It's permanent.
Oh yeah, we need to go get some more squirrel tokens.
More tokens of squirrels, 4 that don't have summoning sickness, 4 that do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think he says, "Do your worst." Let's see what you got.
Yeah, what do you got for me? Like, so right now, if I'm Mike and I can draw any card in all of Magic, what card would I want to draw to like win the game right now?
Even like Creative Hoof Behemoth doesn't win for
Yeah,
Mike
because
here,
anything
right?
gets countered. It has to be something like Banefire, and there's no red mana in play. Because any card
Yeah.
we draw gets countered. Green has some uncounterable cards, but I don't think there's we can like uncounterably like beast Sting Dave out of the game or something.
No. You've been what, plow under? I think Mike's probably looking it up right now.
Yeah.
I can't
Is there an
imagine.
out?
I
In the
can't
in
imagine there's an out.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen enough. Our opponent is countering everything, bouncing everything, drawing everything. I don't want to play anymore. This game's
Yeah.
dumb. This game's
Yeah,
okay.
that was not going to end well. I could
Yeah.
figure Mike was getting towards the end on that one.
Yeah. Once Dave stabilized, it just got harder every turn. There's this window where the forest walking elves could get through, but once that was off the table, uh, Dave just had too much advantage going. So let's take a look at the sideboards and see what we have. Um, it's important to note, Mike is going to be on the play when both decks don't have a lot of removal. It can be very easy to like get ahead on board and just stay ahead. Um, so what do we have? Steely Resolve naming Elves. That's relevant.
I think Winter Orb could really close the door for Mike if
Yeah,
he can
Mike's deck,
resolve it.
David's deck. These survival decks are very mana hungry. You
Yeah.
play a 2 mana enchantment that does nothing. That 2 mana enchantment taxes your mana, green mana every turn, and then you have to play a bunch of other creatures. So
Then of course
usually,
Naturalize, Tormod's Crypt. I mean, Mike has a
mm,
gang of cards. You see a bunch of cards laid out on the table, right? You can
right?
imagine those cards include, right, like Nantuko Vigilante, Naturalize, Tormod's Crypt. That's right there, 6 cards. That's probably the 6 he's bringing in.
Yeah. So
He
what do we?
might say no to Winter Orb just because, like, oh, it's overkill, right?
Yeah. So what do we take out? I think that we can't afford to take out too many elves out of our deck. That will break up the fundamental synergies of our deck. But I think that Biorhythm and Plow Under are pretty easy cuts. After that, it gets a little harder. Like I feel like you do want to leave in the Armageddons because you can just really get them. Um, But after that, it gets hazy to me. But I feel like Biorithm and Plow Under are cards we could definitely go from the Elf
I
deck.
think Plow Under, yeah, we this Plow Under is just going to come too late.
On the flip side, oh no, I got bad news. I'm looking at David's sideboard. We got problems. David's sideboard has 3 copies of Engineer Plague.
Engineer Plague. So
Oh
that's going to be
well,
very difficult. But
that's
fortunately for Mike, the cards he's going to be bringing in naturally from his sideboard line up with that sideboard card.
they
Hopefully,
do, but it's gonna hurt, because if they play the plague, it gets to kill like 2 elves, and then you naturalize it. You're definitely hurting in that exchange.
I mean,
Also, David
we
has
have
a
3 champions though. We have three
yeah
champions, so each
yeah.
champion nullifies one engineered plague, right?
David also has a Masticore, which is really good against a bunch of 1 toughness creatures.
Masticore is the thing that really, I think, if David gets his Masticore online before Mike has a commanding board presence, it's curtains, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we've
because
seen it. We've seen it before on this stream.
yeah, that in our finals last season, a Masticore showed up and just
Indeed,
like
that was
gunned
in the
gunned down
mirror,
all the
right?
elves.
That was
Yeah,
the mirror match there, and so yeah, I think, and that was Mike, right? Mike was in that match with this
yeah, I
elf
think
deck.
so. I think yeah, the deck name Elfageddon again. So just kind
Yeah.
of running it back. Um, I do think that Mike could definitely win. Being on the play in these matchups where both decks have a bunch of mana accelerants is very powerful, and Mike could just pull really far ahead. In the abstract, the survival deck is doing more powerful things, and I think that these sideboard cards are more impactful. Like Engineered Plague, ugh, that's
Mastercore.
dirty, Dave.
Yeah,
That's just
Mastercore,
dirty.
Engineered Plague. Those 2 cards are really gonna shine in this. He could even bring in a Smother additionally, just like a gotcha. And yeah, so but again, just those 4 cards are going to impact the game so much more, and one of them actually being tutorable, the Mastercore, if you get a survival down.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting against Mike, but I'm going to say he's going to have a very difficult time with this
All right,
game
Mike, come
too.
on, get out there, prove us wrong. Do it. I believe in the elf beats.
Mike has shown the power of his deck, and he's shown that he plays it very well, efficiently. Thinking about what he's laying down, and I might have disagreed with a few of the land plays he made last game, but he played it pretty tight, and he took David down to 1 life. So
Yeah.
let's see
All
what he
right,
can
so I
do.
think David is mulliganing here, and Mike is staying. So if Mike is staying, I anticipate that means we're going to open on a Llanowar or Findhorn Elf.
Yeah,
That's what we want to be doing every time. And with Dave, you do want to mulligan because you have fewer functional hands. Like in the card specifically, Survival of the Fittest is so powerful. It's very worth it to mulligan,
yeah, yeah, and,
or like
and
Engineer
for
Plague.
yeah, so I was just gonna say that for David, he has those really impactful cards too. So if he doesn't have the survival, then he could also alternatively be looking for an engineered plague. I think I would keep in hand with either.
Yeah, either one of those
Ideally, you
cards would be
want
a keep.
both, right?
Mm-hmm. Man,
uh,
aren't we glad that Plague Engineers is not in this format? You could just like go get it with Survival. What
Oh my
nonsense.
gosh. The card that I was looking for in David's list when he was doing his business last game was the Quirion Ranger, right? Because
Yeah,
I kept saying like you could add another Tradewind Rider, but in my head I'm thinking that adds another turn. If you have a Quirion Ranger, that allows you to activate your Tradewind Rider twice in one turn if you have enough creatures, and he obviously had enough creatures, right? So
yeah.
Mystic Snake is an awesome card. I might find and David might agree. If he played this list again, he might swap one of those trade wind riders for a Quirion Ranger.
Yeah, and that card's just like so good in general. Making all your birds of paradise better and whatnot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But again,
Yeah.
he's not a combo deck per se, right? He's very much a value deck. He wants to get value from his creatures, even if he doesn't have the survival active. But survival just makes his deck so much better. He's on 5 cards now, so right
Oof.
now he's
Oof.
just looking for something serviceable, right? Anything serviceable, lands and
Right.
spells.
Yeah. And it's hard because David is a 3-color deck, so the mana is gonna put you in these bad spots a bit more often. Whereas Mike is basically like mono green with a tiny splash of white. So
Right. Yeah.
there's
As
going to
long
be
as you
less
don't
of
have
this
mono white
dysfunction.
lands for Mike,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think there's like 2 planes or so, like 8 planes and 4 brush lands. So that's really not
So
going to come up.
as long as you're not on mono white lands, then you're good.
Okay, so
Mike's like,
you
come
know,
on, let's get it
yeah,
on.
we've all been in tournaments, and this is, we want to be nice, but this is what we want to see. We're down a game, our opponent just kind of took us out to cleaners, and now we're on the play, and our opponent's mulling into 5. We're like, yes,
Like, yes, okay, give me a chance
yeah,
here, sir.
we're going
Right?
to game 3. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. So we
All right,
open
all
on
right.
what
So we
you
land on
said.
Llanowar Elves.
Yeah. You called it.
And no Birds of Paradise. So we're like
Okay.
2 turns behind.
Well, we went to 5, so we can hope that we have something to do on turn 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Is this a cradle with a creature bond on it?
I guess. Okay,
Cool.
yeah, sure. That's cool, I suppose. All right,
It's
we've
like
got,
creatures, I get it.
all right,
We
more
get a
Llanowar
second
Elves.
Llanowar. Oh, it's a
All
cool
right,
border.
attack. Okay. Next turn, you're gonna have to do more than play a 1/1.
I don't
But
love
I
it. I
believe,
don't love it, but
yeah,
why do you
maybe
keep up? Yeah, like what do you have in hand that you're like, I'm gonna have
Sylvan
one
Messenger,
forest
or
up?
like turn 3, Deranged Hermit. Uh, all right, we're gonna
Fiend.
find out.
Okay.
I mean, this card
Fiend
is very good
is
when our
gonna
opponent's deck
show
has
us a
no removal in it.
naturalize. I was gonna say, oh, here's a
Okay,
champion.
Champion,
Cradle.
Cradle,
That one.
Acolyte, Messenger. Okay, no, this is not exceptional, but this is a very very strong curve. Um, yeah, this is tough. And we played a forest, so the champion is relevant. If we have an engineered plague in our hand, we kind of are forced to take the champion, because otherwise the champion just shows up and our plague does nothing.
Right.
So that can be very telling.
What's the white border card?
I thought that was an acolyte, but I'm not sure.
It's not. There's only one
No.
printing of Multani's acolyte.
Oh, maybe it's, yeah.
Is
I
that a
got nothing.
second champion? Is that another champion?
Uh,
I think that's what
yeah.
it is.
Okay, well in that case, we just take the messenger, I suppose. But taking the champions, leaving him double champion, because I think both champions could get played next turn. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, we could just get steamrolled if that's another champion, because then all the creatures are unblockable,
That's
and
the
they're just
seventh edition. That's the seventh edition Elvis champion. Yep.
okay. 7th edition with this weird art.
I knew I like that has to be a card that's good. And since the other champion art was the other, so he has maybe four different arts. I like this aesthetic. Another aesthetic that I can appreciate here with the
Yeah,
Clements elf deck.
putting your opponent on tilt with mismatch cards.
I love it. I love it. I actually, for me, it's more just, and especially in this format, it's about the beauty of the cards, and especially for me, I always play mismatch basics, but only because I can't. I don't want to pick one, right? I want to play
Ah.
many basics and see a variety of beautiful lands. So, Mike adds a
Ah.
champion, right?
Okay. But
Adds
not
a
a second
champion,
champion
attacks.
that which would give us 2 more damage. I feel like blowing up our own guy's cradle and playing a 7 champion for 2 more damage is totally worth it there. Like, we just want to put the game away as quickly as possible. So I'm not sure
Maybe he's
why.
just being a little conservative. Maybe he has an Armageddon.
It doesn't matter if we blown up our opponent's land if they just died to some forest walking elves.
True, true.
I don't think that we
What
need
could
an
he be
Armageddon to win.
playing around here? In that case,
Yeah,
what does he think he's playing around?
I'm not really sure. So yeah, I think the two extra damage is worth it.
Well, I guess we'll see if he adds. He has no. Well, he'll add the Elvis champion next turn. But what does he think? I mean, he's gonna get. He's gonna
Squee.
get.
Oh, but that doesn't even block. Yeah. Okay. Uh, feels
So it was
bad, Dave.
definitely right to play the other champion at this point.
Yeah.
But we can see that. But what could he? I mean,
Yeah.
what could
We
he be
know
playing around?
there's no way that Wrath of God as a card is in the survival deck.
Right.
So Yeah, I'm not sure. And honestly, I don't think it matters. When my survival opponent is hard casting Squee and my creatures are unblockable, I feel like the game is kind of my
Probably over.
slipped away
Yeah.
from them.
I feel like
All
now
right,
he's gonna go for it. Here's a
all
Hive
right.
Master.
So whenever we play an elf, we get an insect.
Yeah.
Uh, sure, sure. That
Now's
has a
the
lot of
time
synergy.
to add the other champion to the board. Again, I feel
Okay,
like you would
get
have
an insect.
you just go for the throat here. Why are you holding the cradle still?
Well, I mean, now there could be no other castable spells.
Right.
We get to rumble in for 6 unblockable damage. Uh,
I guess it's
so
still a two
oof,
turn clock. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
It's two
yeah, yeah.
turns regardless. You better do something next turn.
Just dead.
Uh,
So I think we're about to, it has to be like
so
bone. Yeah, it's
Elves gets to
concession.
do something, right? Elves got to
Okay,
do their
yeah.
thing, right? We got
On the
game two.
play, strong curve, unblockable creatures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Okay.
Nice. So we get a game three. We get a game three.
Yeah.
Very nice. Looks like David's going straight back to it. Looks like Mike's going straight back to it. So maybe there'll be
Hmm,
consideration. Um,
maybe it's not like either player saw anything that would like you'd be like, oh, they have card X. I need to juke around card X. I was
right,
like, oh, my opponent played elves and they were unblockable, which I saw in the previous game. So
right. Maybe on the play, Mike wants to bring in on the play or switch out on the play. Maybe he had a card that he wanted to take out. Um, what are we thinking here? If he took one out, I don't know. He's looking
yeah,
at
I
it
don't
again. Looking at it again.
double checking our work. Yeah, I don't. I think both of their sideboarding is pretty straightforward, especially David's. Uh, I don't think that there's anything really. Yes, and especially considering the way that game went, it's not like you have to make any adjustments. So I'm pretty happy.
Um,
All right,
yeah, if
so
I'm
here we
David.
are.
So, but it's gone to. Wait, did David go first in the first game?
Mike went first in the first game,
Okay.
and Mike led on symbiote into a cradle,
Yeah.
whereas David led on birds into survival and some
Yeah,
stuff.
birds. Yeah. So, but your prediction of whoever goes first should win is not held. But Mike did go first last game, and I think maybe just game one kind of bucked the trend. Slash, Mike kept a little bit of a slow hand where David's hand was a little fast.
Yeah. David having the birds was like huge. So here we are. David's on the play. Um, Mike's deck is not very disruptive, so if you have a really good hand that can execute, you can be reasonably assured that that's going to take place.
All right, Mike's
All
gonna lead us
right.
off, or no,
Oh,
David's gonna lead us off, I guess.
both.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're not leading on birds. So
Swamp duress,
if
swamp therapy.
if I have therapy, I just name Llanowar elves. We know there's 4 of them. That's what I would name. Well, yeah, I would name Llanowar elves.
Okay, I like that. You might go survival too, right? We haven't
Well,
seen survival.
we haven't seen survival in either of these 2 games, and so even though we haven't explicitly seen Mike's list, if we suspect that Mike is on the same list that they played last time, then there's no survival. So
Right.
yeah, I wonder what the name was. Ooh, champion. Okay, that's reasonable.
Was that the name
I'm
then? Yeah.
guessing based on how the card got moved around.
Hmm.
Uh,
L Llanowar would have hit though.
yeah,
If
I would have gone for Llanowar, but
but we know
now
about the Armageddon at least, right?
yeah, there is an Armageddon, so we might at some point flash back this therapy.
It
Uh,
does inform our play at a minimum, right? So I
yeah.
like again, go for it. Uh, Predictably, we'll likely see the Llanowar elf here.
So now Mike is going to need to draw something. We've got some we've got 2/1/1s and like a sort of payoff card, but we need to draw something to fill out our curve here. Uh, and playing the green creatures,
Llanowar
gold
elf.
gold
Yeah,
borderland or elves.
very
All
nice
right,
one. Very nice one.
so what are we doing? I mean, we could wall blossom into therapy on Armageddon. We can wait a turn on that therapy though.
Yeah. Devamaya Coast.
Yeah, yeah.
And a pass. Okay.
What? Okay, all right. Do you know what this screams to me?
What? What are we doing?
Engineered plague.
Plague. You
That's what
just
you take the champion because there's a plague in your hand.
right. So you just say, do your things. Oh gosh,
Yeah,
Mike's
yeah.
just
This
walking into
pad.
it too. But Mike, what else can Mike do? Mike
Yeah,
could split it. Mike could split it. Oh, I
we're
guess he's
gonna
putting
just
this
save
insect
one of
in
these elves
anyway.
with the
Okay.
insect. But yeah,
Yeah.
this screams engineered plague to me.
Yeah.
If we're not even playing like a wall blossoms on two, it's got to be plague.
That's why you kept the hand. What else are you doing,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
you
We're not playing
you're
survival or
gonna you're
wall.
gonna blind name champion because that screws your plan, right?
Yeah.
And then it's taking a little bit. Hopefully, it's the land. Okay, here it
Okay.
is.
Oh, reflect. So
Reflecting
here goes
pool. Nice.
plague. The
Yeah,
plague. Everyone,
yeah.
run for your lives.
And he names insect watch.
Okay, what are we doing here? We're gonna bounce one of these guys back to our hand. The other one's gonna go to the graveyard, and we are in trouble. This is
Well,
a problem.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, so what is he doing? He's
Yeah.
saying,
What?
"Oh, what?
What? What? I mean, I think we're probably dead anyway. But we could have
Well,
saved
no,
one of these
because you
guys.
have to do it before engineered play comes in, and if he bounces one of them, then he's
Uh,
afraid that then he'll just name insect.
whatever. You're always naming elf. Like I'm not gonna name
That's
insect.
weird, but that's
Yeah.
weird. But
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta figure
Yeah.
that's why he did that, right? He said, okay, fine, I'll have things that aren't elves then, right?
I guess you just bounce one, and then there's a one elf
Well,
and one
David has
insect
no
in play.
clock, right? David has no
Yeah,
clock, so he
but
says that's fine.
I don't think there's a reason to let him get two creatures. So now we have a morph which could be a vigilante, or is there like a burst lord rangers or force mage running around in this list?
There's Forge
Let's see.
Mage, it's Force Mage, or Vigilante.
Okay, okay. So that's good. And so, but this is
If it's
just huge.
Vigilante, though, if it's Vigilante, that's really good, right?
Yeah, it's really good. But this is still great for Dave. Like just such hateful
You
cards.
feel good if you're Dave still because you have
Yeah,
still probably what does he have 4 or 5 cards?
yeah. We didn't mulligan, so we've got like four cards in our hand or five cards because we just drew. We've got presumably some creatures that we can be playing. Just doing it all.
Yeah. So I mean, again though, I don't again. You could have a lot of blanks.
Yeah, we
If I'm
do.
Mike, I'm banking on that. What if you have? What if I Mike and have another land in my hand? Then I'm gonna blow up all the land
Right,
and
we need to play
bash
a
you for 3.
creature and therapy the Armageddon, so we don't just like take 10 damage from random dorks.
So hopefully Dave is just thinking about which creature he's gonna
Yeah,
lose
which creature
to
to
the therapy.
sacrifice. So we know it's not. We know Dave doesn't have a wall of blossoms because I feel like that would just be the easy play to
Auto.
make.
Yeah,
Uh,
but maybe you want to block with the wall of blossoms.
yeah, and also we didn't have any plays on turn two, so that implies that we don't have any two
So
drops.
yeah, that's true.
All
There's a
right.
land. Oh no, why are we playing a
Uh,
land? Tradewind. It must
okay,
be. Tradewind.
that's
Okay.
fine.
Just hope there's no Armageddon then. If you
Well,
get
if we
Geddons right
Armageddon,
here.
we have a 1/4 versus a 2/2 and a 1/1, so that we can't get like beat down because Tradewind Rider's big.
True. True.
So as long as we have some creature in play, we can't get got by the Armageddon. We won't just
True.
be
Well, a creature with a big enough butt, which
yeah.
Tradewind Riders is
Tradewind
that.
Rider completely satisfies that criteria.
So Mike is foiled a bit here because
Yeah,
that's where he's angling to go. Um, that kind of just stymies his whole plan. He's gonna probably just ship the turn.
yeah.
I can't imagine what he can do, especially with that resolved plague. Now he has to hope to draw into some kind of naturalize effect.
Or some more
Uh,
Elvish champions. All
Another champion.
right, good
He
guys.
adds a
Cradle.
cradle. So cradle that taps for 2. He can make 5 mana, and he
Eh,
passes it. Passes
nothing
it
doing.
over.
All right.
So Mike has one unknown card, one Armageddon. He has access to enough mana to cast the Armageddon,
Yeah,
but
but it
he's not
doesn't
ahead.
get him anywhere.
Yeah.
And Dave, on the other hand, has quite a few cards, so it would be very reasonable to assume that even more creatures will be showing up on Dave's side of the board,
Right.
which will make Armageddon even less desirable to cast.
Is this another squee here? Hard casting squee again. Uh,
Okay.
Granger.
Yeah. It's a 2/2, and it's an
Ha
elf. Oh, so it's
ha.
actually a 1/1 elf, but that's awkward. That's fine. We'll accept it. We'll accept it.
It's still, even if it was a 1/1, you still get the land, right? It
Yeah,
still
yeah.
came into play. It just died
And
immediately.
and so now at this point, we could sacrifice this creature to therapy to get
Get
rid of Armageddon.
Armageddon. That would
Just
be the
yeah,
correct thing because it has
I
an echo
think.
cost. It has an echo cost.
Oh, this creature does? Then yeah,
Yeah.
we're definitely get out of here. Get out. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
go get help. Get therapy. Get there.
So and really and really, yeah, David, he can sack the guy unless he has another creature in his hand, um, unless he has a bird or something, then he definitely wants to just therapy. Oh, he did not. He passed it to
What?
Mike.
I mean,
And what are we doing here? We're gonna allow
yeah.
Armageddon to resolve?
Yeah, Geddon would be a little embarrassing since we'd lose our echo creature. So if Mike could mysteriously play an extra, you know, so yeah, we're just gonna get Geddon. Okay, okay.
Because like Cradle Champion are the other two cards, right? Or he didn't float a mana, so
No, okay. I mean,
no.
I understand
We're
what,
just
what
gonna
Mike is doing.
race. Mike's gonna
My,
race. Say you have no action, right? You have no other mana.
yeah.
You have one guy that blocks. I just need one more guy.
All
Oh gosh,
right.
here's a swamp
Okay.
on
So
David's side and a
what
pass.
Mike is doing is when you're in a losing position in the game, you should do things that add variance to the game. So randomly blowing up all the lands and just hoping that you draw lands,
Play off the
that you get
top.
lucky,
Yeah.
that's fine because if the game is in a stable state, then
David
you're
adds a
going to lose.
reflecting pool that only
Okay,
taps
guy,
for swamp, right?
foil guys, cradle. I think that taps for like 10 green mana.
10 green. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Mike
it's
gets
in
back
the
in.
Judge Oracle text. Foil guys cradle taps for 10 green mana at
Taps
all
for more.
times.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Thrice as
All right,
much. But
well, apparently David's just like mega flooded, so
yeah,
this plan
David
didn't work
only
out.
had lands. So yeah.
Yeah. He was like, man, I really hope this Geddon gets cast because I just have no other action.
So I mean, he was baiting it. It seems like
Yeah, I
now
guess
now that we're
so.
looking
We'll
at
have to
it,
ask
like
him, like, were
he
you
had
just fisting all
multiple
lands?
lands.
Or did they just come, tumbling off the top?
Oh
Yeah, if he plays
gosh.
another land here, I was like,
Here it is.
okay.
Oh gosh, another reflecting pool. So he can make he can cast his Mystic Snake pain free. Oh, not pain free, but still he can cast a Mystic Snake. Let's just be clear. He went from swamp, swamp reflecting pool to Yavimaya adding Yavimaya Coast reflecting pool. Mike passes it back. He has a grip of cards. It looks like 6 cards, 5 cards actually, but no other plays. Just waiting around to see what he can do that's profitable. Maybe he has an Elvis champion. He just needs one more
Nah,
mana.
one more creature, yeah, something.
He's like, man, I'm showing this
Wow.
foil cradle.
Yeah, just gotta get on camera. Show your good angle, foil guys,
Yeah,
cradle.
yeah. It's your moment. He's telling his
Yeah.
cradle right now, like, you are gonna win the game for me. Oh,
Okay,
oh.
that's a real
Here,
magic card.
here we go. David taps a swamp and a forest, casts survival. Um, if he has a creature in his
Yeah, just
hand,
go get the squee.
this could get silly.
Yeah, okay, we do. We have the Octavi orangutan.
Okay.
We could go get wall blossoms. We could get squee. It's all good in the hood.
I think probably we go get squee here. Survival squee for a bird, cast a bird,
Yeah,
and then
that's
pass,
reasonable.
right?
We want more mana. We want more creatures for the Tradewind activation.
And yeah, if you survival squee
Sweet.
for a bird, then you can get
Yep.
then you can activate
Wow.
your trade win next turn and
It's like you have.
effectively close the door, right? You should be
Yeah,
able
it's.
to win.
Oh yeah, funny story. When your opponent Armageddon's all their lands, Tradewind Rider is really good.
Yeah, so that's where if Mike doesn't draw a land here, it's gonna be real awkward. And you know what? I will guess one of the cards in Mike's hand is another Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah. So this Tradewind writer is now going to start get online. We only have one land. We only have two creatures. This could be very problematic.
Yeah, Mike passes back again.
Oh
David
no!
untaps with 5 lands
No.
and a bird.
Yeah, and
Tradewind
active
Rider,
survival. It's
active
yeah,
survival with a squee. It is really
yeah,
David's game to lose here, but let us see how he decides to try to close things out.
indeed. Like yeah, David's already made plays we didn't expect, but like letting the Armageddon stick around. Uh,
Right, right.
but at this point, we just doesn't really matter.
It's really on him, but again, he does have to do it.
Yeah,
So let's just follow along and let's just see how he decides to
yeah.
go
How
about
many
closing this
sweet
out.
game actions are we going to take?
Well, again, even the most efficient game action. What is if you don't have recurring nightmare here? What is the most
Palancron.
efficient way to win the
Whoa.
game?
Okay. I think we might be. It might be time to style all over the place with recurring nightmare. That's what this
He
palancron is
might
signifying to
he
me.
might have a recurring nightmare indeed. And there's a
um.
wall in the yard already. Yeah.
Is there? No, I don't think so.
Oh, there's the wall.
Yeah. So we can't do it this turn. I think we're one mana shy. No, we could. We can sack the bird to get back to Palicron, untap everything, get the Wall of Blossoms into play. I think it's all doable. Oh no, we've got.
Oh, there's
Okay,
the
yeah, we're
land.
good.
So there's the land. So
Yeah.
now, oh, are we gonna do it? We're gonna do.
What are we
Here's
doing?
one,
What are we doing?
two, one, two, three,
Yeah,
four.
it's all here.
Bird, bird. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Uh,
Recurring nightmare. There it is. Gold border.
uh,
All right.
uh,
And
I,
then we're going to. So he's gonna tell
uh,
Mike, look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sack this
yeah,
thing.
show me a naturalize right now.
Right. That's what you want to do. So it's in play. But there's no time that there's no priority time that he could have
Ooh,
naturalized that,
okay,
right?
okay. Let
Untap
me
everything. Mike saying yes, indeed.
this card. Is there ever a window? Assuming your opponent is uh, sacrifice a creature, return. That's part of the cost.
Yeah, so I don't think
So
there's any
unless
time you can do it.
yeah, unless we goof and have some weird ability already on the stack to strand a sorcery. Um,
He's gonna Granger some lands.
yeah,
Mike's
yeah,
like, "What are you gonna kill me? How are you gonna kill me? I see it. You're gonna draw a
yeah.
bunch of stuff. You're
I don't
gonna
want to
get
play anymore.
Armageddon. I'm
Yeah,
done playing
we had
with
the
you,
tribal phase
sir."
force mage,
Uh,
which
One of them was not a
yeah,
another
vigilant.
cradle.
Yeah,
Just all mana intense spells and or one toughness creatures, right?
yeah. So
That
okay, so we did get to play the recurring nightmare and draw our whole deck and generate all this mana. Uh, yeah, Engineer
right.
Plague, like we kind of called it. It's like, wow, Dave's hand really is strongly suggesting he has this incredible sideboard bomb, and it just kind of locked Mike out of the game.
Right. Well, like you said, though, probably was a mistake to not bounce, but Mike did not want to make David second guess his choice of Elf.
Yeah.
Um, so he wanted to make sure that David named Elf. In the end, the Armageddon by Mike really is what wrote the script for the game, right?
Yeah, Mike had to cast Armageddon and then get kind of fortunate and draw a perfect mix of land and spells on Dave not.
A
But it
hundred
turned out that
percent.
Dave either had like a bunch of lands in his hand,
No,
which would explain leaving the Armageddon in Mike's hand because we were
and I
both
agree
confused
with
by
your
that.
I agree with your assessment where you said when you're in a position when you're behind, you want to create the opportunity for you to win the game, and that's what Mike
Yeah.
was trying to do. But I enjoyed that 3 game series immensely. Thanks for being on with me tonight, Woodrow. It's been
Yeah,
great.
excellent. We had some great games. Our players played tight. We got to see some cool stuff happening. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you all next week.
Thanks.